Questioning Everything with Adam W.
Episode 14.
I can't hear anybody.
Why not? I'm muted. I was muted. Like a new bed.
Can you hear me?
I can fucking hear you. Holy shit. One sec, okay? Yeah, I need a shirt. Did you get my shirt? Can you throw my shirt over the...
I've had this mirror in my room for years.
Grab a different
one. And I didn't even notice that it said,
shirt.
do you love what you do?
There we go. Fuck. I couldn't fucking hear any of your shit.
There you are. We couldn't hear you either, bro.
No, perfect.
We couldn't hear... Lucy's just giving me a shirt. Because I'm naked.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm not penis naked. I'm just nipple naked. And you can't be nipple naked on a...
I got better boobs than you, so it's okay.
Thank you. Everybody has bigger boobs than me. Jesus. Hopefully, anyway, if they're lucky.
You're recording this, Adam?
Give me a sec.
Now?
Okay, so Lucy's not going to camera on, but she is going to mic on just in case we need to look up any bullshit. I got to put my fucking headphones back on. There we go, I can hear you again. There we go.
I have to move my desk so I can sit back in my couch.
Oh yeah, that's like the Skype. That's the Skype camera right there.
Here, I call girls right here.
Yeah. OnlyFans.
Yeah, right here. I've got a boobie.
Yeah. It's all about perspective for some of us. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter what it is.
Need a little bit of a boost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, today was today. Today was a good day. We started off with 11:11.
Are you good, Lucy?
I am good.
Where did Garrett go?
Okay.
Right here.
And you can hear everything just fine, Garrett. You're good?
Yeah, well, I put... I can hear you through this. I'm just hoping it doesn't, like, reverb.
Oh, it's fine. I can't hear it.
I can't hear us through that.
No.
That sounds fine.
No, Zoom has noise canceling, so we're pretty good.
Yeah, because my phone... I need to get it set up.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to keeping it metal podcast for sure.
Welcome, everybody, to the Questioning Everything podcast. I am your host, Adam W. We have today Garrett Keeping and Roger Stearn, and we are talking about addiction and recovery. I mean, we can talk about whatever, but let's just get that off the top.
Out in another room.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's all good.
All right. So you were saying it was a good day.
Yeah. Like a normal day.
Rolling a cig.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about addiction, eh?
Addiction. Yeah, well, no. You can talk about sugar.
You can, man. I was actually thinking about weed and coffee, and how weed and coffee kind of remind me of the same thing insofar as like
it's all something. So there's always going to be someone that's pissed off at something. About you do this. Oh, you drink too much coffee. You should drink tea. Well, no, I like my coffee.
Well, coffee's mood altering, right? Like if you don't have coffee, if you're a coffee person, you don't have it, then it really does alter your behavior, your mood, at least, even if just a little bit.
Even if you didn't have water, it'd change your mood too.
Well, that's different. You die. You actually have to have water
change
for
your mood, wouldn't it?
A lot of biological processes. Yeah, but it's different, right?
Right.
Same with like vitamins and water. Garrett,
can you not hear me?
It's real quiet, bro.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Are you using them? What are you micing through?
Not better?
No.
Okay, is
that better?
Go.
Oh, that's totally.
That's awesome.
Okay. Well, I'll just have to listen carefully.
Right.
You know what I was gonna say in the 12-step program, like the CA program and stuff like that, they preach a lot about no mind-altering substances whatsoever, right? So that means weeds out, medicinal substances are out, like mushrooms or ayahuasca, and then my opinion, and that would mean coffee's out.
Well, yeah, but like you said too, sugar, because sugar's really kind of a
so that's funny because coffee.
Because we get snappy without sugar. Like
this is addictive too, right?
What is that?
Well, it's one of those nicotine aloe thingamajigs. But if I take a shot of this, it actually alters my mind.
Well, that's why I used to vape.
Yeah, well, nicotine, right? Nicotine.
Well, it's just a
it's a drug, right?
Yeah.
I guess you're not going to go on 3-day benders on coffee, but you know, the thing.
Good old days, maybe.
What's a 3-day bender on coffee? Because
D&D.
I don't know.
I mean, I have like
Video game.
Video game.
3-decade benders on coffee. It depends on what you qualify.
My coworker called me ugly. Actually, I'm quite handsome.
Oh.
Huh.
What does ugly stand for, though?
Nice.
What does ugly stand for, though? Right? You
I don't
what
know.
I don't know. I'm just,
Exactly.
Is it
Is it a word?
Is it
I'm having a rough
an
time
acronym?
at work right now.
Acronym. There you go.
The heat is so fucking
That's
intense.
just another word to explain what other word. There's a word to explain a word.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
ugly.
I'm using the wrong word, but
No, I think you're cute. Don't worry.
perfect.
Yeah. Adam's pretty cute. I don't know.
But anyway,
Anyways, now for something completely different. I woke up, had a good day, coffee and everything, blah, blah, blah. Played lots of poker, won lots of money, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's an addiction
Nice.
for you.
Oh, totally, dude. Gambling, man. You're
But
on
the
a
thing
roll.
is- no, but the thing is,
Cigarette
no.
And then poker.
Oh, no, but it's fake money. So I still get the adrenaline rush out of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, really? But it's totally fake? 100%?
It's totally fake. Yeah. Well, no, I spend $6 once in a while for whatever, but.
Okay, so it's no worse than Facebook or something.
Oh, no, exactly. Or Netflix. Or Netflix.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, that was a bad one. Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Talk about addicted.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the thing is, too, with Pokemon Go is we were like, should we buy tokens? And then we're like, you know what? We're not going out for dinner. We're not going to the movies. We're not we've spent the last 4 days walking around playing Pokemon Go. So why not throw like $5 into it? Because who the fuck cares, right?
And it's for the fun of it, right?
Well, that's just it. It's like part of your entertainment at that point.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, that's
not
what it comes
that
down
bad.
to.
It's
Addictions, I don't comprehend is that addictions are just the comforts of how you want to live. You're addicted to something, like if you're addicted to reading books, or you're addicted to going for a walk at a certain time, or
There's
you
a
want to do
spectrum,
it.
though. There's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, we have to identify that, because what you're talking about are preferential things that are habitual. We have conditioned habits and stuff, but an addiction, very specifically, at least what we're usually talking about in regular terms, is a chemical dependency that is extremely severe and
would kill you,
well, it's just
brought on by
changes
traumatic
your-
experiences in the childhood normally.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's often roots to it, but the thing is that once you're in that addiction, there is a chemical dependency,
and that's
causes
where,
physical
yeah,
phenomenon when you try to stop
yeah,
it. Usually,
yeah.
or psychological phenomenon that's significant enough that you go, okay, this is like with sugar and coffee. You can tell you get sweats and you get.
But a lot of it relates to habits. So if you start talking about Netflix and sex and other types of addiction, like addictive behaviors, a lot of that is also getting into the spectrum of habit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, exactly. And from trauma, you were saying.
Break habits. You can get better habits, getting up early, staying consistent with habits, and you'll stop watching Netflix and you'll read more books and you'll start educating more. But severe addiction generally in the majority of cases is a result of trauma. But there are people that have childhoods that did get brought up improperly that still succumb to heavy addiction.
Well, they could still have trauma.
Yeah,
they could be in a wealthy family and have been molested or something. You never really know, right? That part of people's past is often just buried, and they'll never even come out with it. But, I don't see watching Netflix as, first of all, a bad thing.
Well, unless you're doing it till 2 and 3 in the morning and losing sleep.
What is?
It just
Like if you're
depends.
series
It just
binging.
depends, right? Like if it's like really, you really want to just see one more Lucifer, and then you wake up and you're fucked.
What's that?
Yeah,
You wake up
that
and
was
you're
good.
fucked, right? But then the next night, you're legitimately tired, and so now you go to bed at 7, and you legitimately don't give a shit about Lucifer at that moment because you're so tired, and it's not necessarily unhealthy. What would be unhealthy would be doing it maybe all the time, right? Like read a book, watch Netflix. Not everything's unhealthy just because you do it, right?
True.
No.
But if you do something, you know, I was listening to an audiobook the other day, or was reading a book that was saying, like, add up every episode that you've watched of a series, and say a series has 10 or 12 episodes, an hour per episode, and over 3 seasons. That's like 38 hours of waste of time that you could have been maybe writing lyrics, or, you know, but no judgment on that. Of course, we like to escape. You know what I mean?
Depends what the escape is too, because there's a lot of good writers, and a lot of those writers, fucking Roger.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
I'm making a camera holder out of my Pringle boxes. My Pringle can.
Yeah,
a lot of writers are pretty interesting, and if you read a fiction series, which I don't really like to do anymore, but shows are good fiction series.
Perfect. There we go.
And so you end up having somebody's story, and in their story, they're going to try to be passing on life experiences that they've had, or and that's if we're lucky, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes a good series will just be people's life experiences.
Yeah, with other people.
Really cool ideas, so it's not necessarily wasted because it's both entertaining and it's also inspiring. Just kind of like a book, but it's lazy. Right, but the thing is that I think that people need to read more books. Right, legitimately, I think it's
or have more adventures.
Problem in society where we don't read books enough.
Yeah, or call it traffic college. I do traffic college, so when I'm in traffic or driving anywhere to go to work or anything, I make sure that I listen to a podcast in the morning, or I listen to audiobooks in the morning, so I'm not just sitting in traffic listening to news. I mean, I got to throw on Hatebreed or something heavy after work, but yeah.
And that's good, but I still think reading a book can't be replaced by an audiobook. And it's part of our brain process. It's part of the way our eyes identify stuff.
But I have troubles reading.
Okay, so let me stop you there for a sec, because this is fascinating. Precisely. When I read, and I start reading, because I'm like, I have beautiful books I want to read. I try to read a lot, and it's tough sometimes. Now, when I read, my mind starts thinking way too much about stuff. So then he's right. Reading is almost a meditative practice, so that if you slow your mind down and slow yourself down and really take in what you're reading, and
I get bored.
Habit,
and you're not good at anything that you don't do enough. Yeah, you do 100%. Something enough and you get better at it, right? But the advantage to it is that it's part of our natural evolution to be able to identify patterns and identify.
Don't get me wrong.
We don't use our eyes tangibly, physically enough.
But then, but the thing is, like, I think the Christianity in me is like, we always had to read the Bible through and through, and it was always like, read it, and like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, and also, you get bored of like the scenario.
It's Deuteronomy.
Yeah, well, not even just in a Bible, in a book, right? Because I read a book halfway, then I get bored, and I go do something, and it's 2 months later, I don't even know what the fuck the book's about anymore.
Done it
and then I have to read it.
Yep.
Again, halfway through.
Yep. Try that with the Magica by Clive Barker. Yeah. It's like you get through the first 600 pages, and then you put it down, and you're like, am I really going to do that? I did it the third read through. I finished a Magica.
So it's depends on who people are, is who wants to read. Like, if you get to break it down, if you take technology away from people all over the world, you take that technology away, and they don't have that Instagram and shit, they'll have to stop and think, hey, what the fuck?
Well, social media is literally a severe addiction. Like, social media, like, I'll admit, like, like I have a fan base now that I've cultivated through my social media.
Well, I know.
Pardon me? It's nothing in comparison to what big players have, and I'm definitely working towards becoming an online blah blah blah. But when I get validation from likes, and then I see the scrolling, and then I'm like, whoa, stop, put it down. Like, you just have to notice when you start going into the matrix. But social media and all that now in this day and age, especially, is so fucking addictive. Like, I
was playing poker, and I heard some guy in the background on his live chat, and he was just talking to himself, and I'm like, did they paint everybody purple yet? I'm like, I haven't been out of my house for 2 years. Did they paint everybody purple? He's like, what the fuck? It's like,
just random.
It's just random, right? But I had the greatest conversation with him after it, and we were talking about things, and like he was like, yeah, like, in-depth conversation. I can't recall it all because whatever, but yeah, no, and I talk to him again, right? Like they're out there.
Is it safe to say then that everybody here is addicted to something or has been in the past?
Oh God, yeah. More than I should have.
More than one thing.
More than one.
Yeah.
Well, I think in our younger years,
I got a list.
Doing hard drugs.
I got a list. I'm happy enough to say I might be a year and a bit no having cocaine, and that was the last thing I had to quit.
Nice.
Roger, do you drink or anything? Are you?
I drink a lot. I drink a lot, and I smoke joints. But I think coming from heroin, meth, acid, coke, crack, and MDMA, and I just smoke cigarettes and smoke a joint and drink a beer or a few.
So hey, Roger, I'm pretty sure I noticed you had a beer. If you want to drink, man, it's okay.
I know. I know.
I'm probably going to have a cup of coffee too.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, it's okay to, but I'm saying, like, from where I am,
it's 5. It's
and from
almost beer 30.
Beer o'clock, baby. It's 5 o'clock. It's fucking get it done. It's
still like, okay, so I have to take this every day, or I get hives, and then I got to take this every day, so I don't feel pain. And so what I have, like, I have a disability too that I just found out this year, and it's hereditary. My brother has it.
Yeah, so unrelated to the any drug use. Just to clarify.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. No, but it makes it worse if I did excessive amounts of drugs in the years that I was a young kid.
Gotcha.
So it makes it worse now.
So is there a chance maybe that you have an early onset then because of drug use?
No, I looked it up, and by 40 you should have a big, like, I had 2 relapses. My hand seized up and I couldn't close it.
Right.
And it just seized up.
Yeah, I remember that about you.
I dropped a cup of coffee. And like I just couldn't, and then so it's happened, and then now I got flat foot with tendons in my feet going all fucked. But the thing is, I lost my doctor before I can get tested to see how far along I am. So now I have to wait for the doctors to fucking find a doctor.
Roger, I have a documentary, and there's a few of them on Netflix, but I have one that you should watch called "What the Health."
What the hell? Okay.
No. What the hell? What the hell?
What the hell?
Health.
Oh, health. Sorry.
They talk, and same with Game Changers, also Forks Over Knives. There's a lot of these documentaries on Netflix that talk about plant-based diets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, exactly. No, and that's what I mean.
Getting to the root of a lot of these issues through nutrition and health and water and exercise.
My buddy's wife's a nutritionist, and she's telling me about porridge is good. And stuff like that, and like different things, and I'm getting a list from her. And what it was is that it's just been a crazy year. I don't know. I'm blabbing. Okay. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Going off. Yeah, but you know me. I used to. And when I saw your last trauma and like video and like how you're hyper and stuff, and it just hit home too, right? And like it was good.
I calmed down a lot because the therapy that I've done has breathing, mindfulness, being aware of my behaviors when I'm like, oh fuck, and I snap over something, or if I'm scrolling too much, or trying to take responsibility for myself as well has put things into perspective in a way that I can really kind of mellow it out now. Right?
Yeah.
That's what trauma therapy does. It's somatic therapy. So like literally meditation is like literally means to know thyself, to look inward. And then breathing. I'll tell you something. She did somatic. When I made that video, she did somatic breathing with me. And the one we did before that, where she was just like, take a breath in, I let it out. My body literally was like, like it didn't want to breathe because it's been holding all this trauma, and all my sympathetic nervous system is always like protecting me. So when you start teaching your neurology and your brain to chill the fuck out.
Coming down to like the addiction of drugs, having the addiction of having all that and then coming off of it, does that create that psychosis or that like, you know what I mean? Like being paranoid, like coming off the drugs, like addictions, right? Like coming off your addictions.
That's pause. That's called post-acute withdrawal syndrome, and that can last up to a year or something. And that's stuff you have to fight through, right?
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
But
do research. You know, something else you can really go look into is Gabor Mate. Gabor Mate. This guy right here. Look at this book right here. In the Realm of the Hungry Ghost. This guy works in the downtown Vancouver east side there, and he's like a 7-year-old like fucking rock star when it comes to trauma therapy and healing and everything else. These are just good, you know, it's hard and then taking the plunge, right? Like admitting, you know, getting like just changing your habits is really tricky, man. It's not fucking easy, and that's why people do drugs.
No, exactly.
It's just worked for me, man. It's changed my life.
Oh, get parched. Dun, 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 dun. You can flip screens, you can see where I'm. You hear me? Can't flip screens. No.
Yeah. No, the
how's the not smoking going, Adam?
Oh, it's always wonderful.
Are you still getting fucking withdrawals?
No. Well, maybe.
How long has it been?
It's easy to blame. You know, behavior on it at this point, but I don't
You're
know.
driving, Adam, nuts with those noises. I can tell.
No, I don't mind.
I'm kidding. It's okay.
I don't mind. But you know, it's.
How long has it been without cigarettes now?
I don't know.
Do you want to quit though? Is it
Quite a
just
while.
like is that your not your addiction? Is that like?
Yeah, it's
like,
it was basically my vice.
So you don't know, you don't enjoy it whatsoever.
Well, no, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's highly toxic, and it also has effects on the vocal cords, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
So Adam, it's probably been about 4 months.
But as far as nicotine
now,
goes,
6 months.
Yeah. As far as nicotine, I don't demonize nicotine whatsoever. Right.
You can't demonize. Like, what am I gonna? I have prescribed pills for me. So what am I gonna demonize alcohol and marijuana compared to my doctor meds? Oh, they're better than your marijuana.
Yeah.
And beer.
Habitual or like recreational use of nicotine. Yeah. I don't think it's wise at all.
No.
I don't think it's just. I think it's unwise. And
I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the main problems, right? But what I'm trying to say here is that if I had advice to give to somebody, it would be to not do it, right? Yeah. The reason being is that
I totally agree with you.
It affects our consciousness, just like caffeine does. It gets to the point where you become used to yourself when you've got nicotine in your bloodstream.
Yeah, that's addiction.
Right?
Yeah.
So you become, that's you. That's your self-identity and it's your self-recipe. It's the same problem with cannabis, with weed. Yeah. If you use it chronically, is that it ends up being your natural, resting, comfortable, conscious state.
Yeah.
And it does affect your conscious state, but you end up becoming normalized. It becomes your normalized conscious state. And at that point, then it's just not comfortable. It's not you're not in your zone. You're not in your place unless you're high.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly
problematic, right?
At
that point, it's problematic.
But what weighs out the better though? Too, what weighs out the better? Like if you quit heroin and then you started drinking coffee, or you quit cocaine and started doing pot.
If you need something like nicotine, even cigarettes, even with the deleterious effects of cigarettes, if you needed to get off heroin, then you're obviously buying yourself, like it's one step closer. Right?
Exactly. So there is that recovery. There is that recovery point that you can get off something that's harder than the other.
But it's habits.
Like even weed, if you can switch over to weed, then
yeah,
and it's
like if I get
that's what I've done. Kind of
or something. I noticed that. Sorry, guys.
No, don't be sorry.
With this little bastard, I jumped back on it because the guys at work have been smoking it, and work is stressful. The heat is
psychological.
Brutal. So for me, it's like a thing to pass the time if I'm delivering pizzas late into the night. And so that's Adam's right. It's not good because if something happens or if I think of a negative thought or some kind of little thing, it triggers me and my brain goes right to nicotine. I don't like that. I think that we should be in comfortable places because that's where you're going to learn to know yourself. That's where you're going to evolve. The more we rely on a cigarette, because you're gonna smoke. Someone calls you and says, "Yeah, sorry, man, I can't make it tonight," and you're like, blah blah blah, girls or your girlfriend. Like, if you have something kind of negative experience, your brain's gonna go right to the booze or right to the nicotine, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of what Adam's saying there too, right?
Kind of, but I'd say that if we lived in a type of society where you had like an emergency nicotine, and something
like
happened, and you had a blast.
Show that had it.
Right, and then you had your blast, and now you could do, and that was all we did it for. Like, if we didn't have a society where we had a 20-pack of fucking cigarettes that people smoked and destroyed their lungs and fucking got emphysema, if that wasn't the case, but we had some kind of a blast of like a, fucking quick nicotine hit, and we only did it. No, we only did it when we got into a car accident or when some shit happened or when, like, fact is. It will focus your mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a nootropic,
for that moment in time.
Well, it's a stimulant. It's a stimulant. So if you take a blast and it's not a heavy duty blast,
that's why you get head rush. You're
gonna get high if it's too hot. If it's too much, you're gonna get high and you're gonna get a head rush and you're gonna get
nauseous,
nitrous in your blood or some shit, right? But no. If it's just a tiny little blast, then it'll help you think better. Much like,
but they have that now with EpiPens, right? They can just do it with the EpiPen. Just transfer it to that. Do a shot of
it was used
nicotine
properly, or again,
it is though. If Joe Rogan and Aubrey Marcus have nicotine, they have like a nootropic nicotine gum that they sponsor. Have you heard that on the Joe Rogan podcast? No. They're sponsored by a chewable gum. That's not Nicorette. It's actually got nicotine in the gum, so that if you want to stay up and read or write, or it actually fires.
And it's not caffeine.
But they've always used that in society, though, too, right?
It's through
drugs. They've capitalized all the drugs that are given to people. They're very capitalized over everything that gets put out into the society. So, like, if the people in the pandemic didn't make any money, they wouldn't have made any money, right? But
Adam, did you get vaxxed?
No,
I got vaxxed.
Are you gonna get vaccinated?
Whatever.
Yeah, but when I do, I mean, I don't like even buy a console until it's been out for a while.
Yeah, I got.
If you don't get sick,
I like to let the market, like, I don't update software right when it comes out. And, give it some time, and they can work out the bugs. I'll have the version 3 or something like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like PlayStation 5. Wait for the PlayStation 7.
By the time I have it, then though, it'll be an annual vaccine for people, just like the flu, or maybe it'll be like FluCov, some vaccine with those like 3 flus and
that's the general
COVID. And then
what they just
they're gonna have to update it with whatever variants, and every year you're gonna get it. And
there's always a virus too, because I was watching the news and they're like, oh, we just drilled in the ice and we found so many different viruses that aren't
there's
harmful
also
for people.
A lot of viruses when there's fucking shenanigans, right?
Yeah,
I mean, even if it's
too.
like accidental shenanigans.
Yeah, this wasn't. It was a purge. It was a governmentally open-ended purge.
I like to think it was just a stupid accident that was opportunized.
No, that's what it feels like.
It's not
a purge.
Going fucking bullshit like that. Come on.
Could be biowarfare.
It's not
warfare.
Too radical to admit what.
But there's another addiction if people are addicted to fucking the drama of even this COVID vaccine, like this COVID thing. They're addicted to the fear that the media puts out there, addicted to false information and spreading it. It's like our whole society is addicted to drama. Is another
drama itself. Yeah, as far as false information. Everybody has always been fascinated with false information, right? Like they love aliens and shit like that, and religion. And
we need more people putting out good information.
The only difference between somebody who watches TV and buys comics and somebody else is that one person knows that it's a fiction and the other person believes in it, right? That's really, but it's all bullshit. So nobody seems to mind proliferated bullshit. It's very specific, very specific information these days that's being cast as misinformation.
Ass tits and music.
There's still like the entirety of the internet is full of like Facebook itself. I scroll through and I see fake consumer stuff. Like
Yeah.
I like tactical stuff, so I'll see like tactical clothing, something, and none of these companies really exist. It's like drop ship stuff that once they get 1,000, they'll get it made, and it'll look nothing like
It's
what
a pyramid
it
scheme.
says.
It's a total pyramid scheme.
It's
It's a
just
total pyramid
crap.
scheme.
Well, it's not even a pyramid scheme. It doesn't qualify, but
Well,
it's a crap garbage
crap shit.
marketing scheme. Yeah. But nobody minds that. Nobody minds.
Well, no.
They buy it.
But the thing is, the funny thing is, someone believes in it. And someone's like, "Oh wow."
Well, that's just it. And if anybody is wrong and the narrative is like, well, they don't want it to be a problem, then it's science, and science changes, and people change based on the
People's
availability of
opinions changes,
information.
yeah.
But if they don't like what they say, then they're spreading misinformation, and they should probably be deplatformed and have their accounts banned. That's but it is really depending on what they like to say.
Like, if you're gonna spew something, right? You might as well have to be truthful.
Yeah, the test thing. They just now said that the COVID test, everybody's got to figure out a new COVID test. The one that doctors for the last several months have been saying isn't a good test because it can't tell the difference between flu and COVID. Well, it can't tell the difference between flu and COVID. So now the CDC is saying you have to change it. Yeah. But there's literally people who have had their careers ruined because this campaign against misinformation is ridiculous and is really actually radical. Nobody has to worry that much about misinformation, right? Like, there's always been the sector of the population that believe in lizard fucking people or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, the 6 billion religious people. So, I mean, no offense, right? But
but depending on what religion you're like. Well, it's a big topic.
Course.
It's a big topic.
It is. And I love religion. I love religion. I'm actually a big fan. I'm a fangirl. But the ridiculousness is prolific. So it is what it is, and nobody minds.
Yeah.
It's just if you're
it's
like only 600K people died, you could even be telling the truth, but suddenly you're a conspiracy theorist, and you shouldn't be comparing it to whatever. Pick your misinformation this month, I guess.
Well,
I like all information, and I assume that everything is the best of what somebody can provide. And if somebody's talking shit about COVID and being like, this virus doesn't really exist, then I know that I don't have to finish watching that video. It's pretty simple.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me,
Well, it's depending on who you are too, right?
Fine.
Again, it comes back to people who believe, right? Like people that believe that Trump was a good president.
Me.
Like the definition of their beliefs are depending on what kind of situation they're in at the time.
Yeah.
Like
I believe Trump is a good president. Like, not anything ideal. Trump is like the lowest form of idealism. He's not ideal, but as far as all the fuckheads they get, Trump was really
could have been worse, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, could have been worse.
Cog in the wheels.
He didn't press the button. He didn't go to war. He didn't press the button. He didn't
go to war.
He just went. Yeah, he didn't go to war.
He told people what is.
Yeah.
He's dumb.
We're all dumb.
But they're all dumb. So pick
exactly.
It's a broken world. It's a broken world. We need more.
The world's not broken. The world's not broken.
Safe them.
The world's not broken.
We need people.
The world's not broken. The human race is consecutively always going to be broken and going to grow to be broken in different ways. Mm-hmm. But the earth is fine. The
world, I mean, as in society, right? Like it's just a lot of brokenness, a lot of like I was freaking through Netflix and I saw that Love Island fucking show or whatever. First, I was like, whoa, there's some babes on there. Like, I knew it was absolute garbage. And I just wanted to I'm like, let me just take a glimpse into the reality for a second and see what the masses are watching. And it's like sexy Love Island. So I press play and it's just these gorgeous young women and like these gorgeous young dudes. And it's just these, and they're all just like, I don't know, like, I just want to like pull in like a da-da-da-da.
Oh my God.
And they're like stunningly fucking hot. And then these guys will come out. They're like, dude. It's just, they're just there to party, to fuck, to be dramatic amongst themselves. And I'm like, this is what fucking society is plugging into. Like we're fucking broken. Like literally, that's the problem. It's just this distraction and this addiction to just like living vicariously, when the secret is to just fucking literally meditate, breathe, and educate and yourself. And that's why we're glued to the Trump, and we're glued to this, and we're glued to that. I mean, I don't know, man.
There is also, just to interject quickly, there is also the responsibility of being an adult and having to be a part of the voting populace. And
Agreed.
Having to
we need a political
know
page,
enough
actually.
and engage enough to understand what it is you're doing and you're talking about and what might be on the line.
I agree. Like there's like it's a convoluted system that's so fucking confusing, and it's almost like it's meant to be that way to keep people out.
Well, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
The masses are just sent a picture.
So it's like what I'm saying. The masses are like, yeah, give me Love Island, give me beer, pay me on my Friday every 2 weeks, and yeah, I'm good. Oh, books? I don't know. I can't pay attention to one paragraph. That's what's sad.
Well,
like my addiction
and
my recovery, especially this one, 4 months ago, or I don't even remember. I'm 5.5. I'm almost 6 months sober again, and my last depression, that was 4.5 months. When COVID hit, I fucking was almost 11 months sober. COVID hit. I was on a shitty crew. I collapsed mentally, but I still had a house. I still had this. I still had that. I had a lot of things to be grateful for. But what that rock bottom one was, more of a spiritual one. So like what I've noticed is like having to heal and having to get better and having to actually do this crazy hard work that I'm doing has brought me into this place of a spiritual awareness. And then like when you heal your trauma, you're literally opening Pandora's box, because now it feels like I've come out of a coma. You're like 15. I look back and I'm like, holy fuck, my ex-girlfriend's having a baby. Holy fuck, that person just died. Holy shit, like where's this person? What the hell happened? Everything just fucking wham. All those kids that were fucking babies when we were in our 20s are now kids that are in their 20s and partying. And it's just really crazy to put that in perspective. And then I'm just looking around at this society going like, holy hell, like
what happened?
I just gotta take it all in. You know, and my conclusion is like, I just like literally want to go to like South America and do more ayahuasca and just get more in touch with myself and become an example.
Can't we stay here and do that and then teach people to do that here? So there's more open-minded people
plan.
Here.
That's my plan.
Like, here's this growth that you can
have to work on getting ayahuasca legalized.
Well, you can do it here. Yeah, but I think
I
MDMA
think that you
actually,
only have access to stuff like that here if you're like a legitimate shaman, and then there's like some.
I got the connection, dog, through my girls.
Beep.
Oh, I shouldn't say that out loud.
Beep.
Is it a drug?
Edit that.
Okay, let's not implicate people, or but
well, we should be able to talk.
We should be able to, but we don't want to get anybody in trouble. For giving people access to something.
I'm always in trouble.
But yes, I think that MDMA experiment, I believe they just legalized it.
Yeah, but I did too much of that already.
In Vancouver.
Yeah.
No, but they give you small amounts, and then after you come out of your trip, you go through a counseling session, and it's going to move into that more, where the people are going to start, because when someone starts tripping balls and healing themselves, I think they're going to be less interested in what Trump's doing, or maybe they'll fight for a cause where they could try to be a better version of the political system.
I don't think anybody gives a shit what Trump's doing anymore.
We can think that, but everybody's going to react differently. If we gave everybody MDMA, everybody would react different. And then you get the good, and if you actually induce people to take MDMA, and the
in a controlled situation.
So, but you'd still get the rejects, and you'd still get the people that don't follow the way that
the rejects are the ones that need the help.
Yeah.
No.
Well, everybody's going to react differently, right? Like we're talking about MDMA here, not caffeine or something.
No. That's
MDMA is,
But to use it as like a induced society thing, it would create so much pandemic. Not pandemic, but
yeah, I wouldn't want everybody to like be forced it, but using it as therapy under a controlled condition in a clinical.
But that goes way back down to like the LSD they did, and then they did that.
I don't have the ability to even make an opinion on that. Like if there's a doctor anywhere in Canada that's like, I think that this is worth trying. Got
Like
my
if cocaine
vote,
felt
bro.
good, right?
Yeah, well, there is. There's
Back in the
tons
day,
of
they used to use it for toothaches.
Because it's not
cocaine.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and even
Listen to the Aubrey Marcus podcast or the Rich Roll podcast. There's like another neuroscientist dude that was on Rogan too. Like there's a lot of fucking advancements that they're not talking about.
Yeah, Rogan's calling for DMT too to be
people have
they're not
done
DMT
with tests as far as like therapy and stuff
trying
like
to curate the whole epiphany that you've created in your head that you feel that you've gone to that point. Like,
I think people want to change. I think people want to heal. You know.
Well,
I wouldn't want
it's quite often.
It goes wrong.
The general gist is that we have Latin inhibition, and our Latin inhibition is the ability of our brain to shut down a lot of stuff, right? And so, especially if you are suffering from the symptoms or the product of trauma or something like that, then it's probably going to be more prevalent. But even cannabis has a lowers the Latin inhibition in a person.
It does.
Gets our stuff worrying a little bit.
Makes me paranoid and more thinking.
Harder drugs have a much better efficacy at dividing a person from their sense of their self, like to the point where you can reflect on things a little bit more objectively. And
that's amazing.
You have the you have the ability to like look at it and kind of accept it in this much larger perspective rather than being inside the bowl. You get to kind of take the commander's chair, and that's what doing psychoactive drugs is a lot of, is that it's not necessarily like, we can call it commander's chair and everything, but for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to use the onion skins. The onion skins, the outermost skin is your consciousness. The innermost skins are your subconscious, your unconsciousness, right? And you can traverse them through meditation or through chemonosis, as it's called, which is the use of drugs. So now you take drugs that lowers your Latin inhibition, and it allows you to experience different levels of your unconsciousness, because now you are open to those processes. You're conscious of them. You're now observing them. And once you get into that onion skin, the perspective changes.
Yeah, totally.
Your person changes, and it is a better part of us. It's a smarter part of us. It's a part that knows and remembers more, right? Like our unconscious knows more in any given moment than our conscious does. And to be able to tap into that is like,
well, I smoked some weed recently. Like it was really weird. Like a couple months back, out of nowhere, because I can't smoke weed because it gives me anxiety. But out of nowhere, a couple months ago, I just got this overwhelming craving to do it, to smoke. I was like, holy shit! So I smoked some weed, no anxiety. I actually sat and reflected and just was like chill and was like, wow, okay. And it was actually more of a medicine. And then I've smoked it every day for a while after that until it didn't serve me anymore. It takes the veil down. And so I haven't been touching it recently because I kind of had a bad trip the last time I smoked it. So I'm like, okay, I've learned what I need to learn. Let's give it, next, I need to evolve and continue some growth and smoking some more.
What I've been doing with
medicine for me personally.
Well, same as me, like for psychologically, like, because I'm not paranoid schizophrenic. I might think I am, but I'm a very paranoid person. And I get paranoid, and so I use it to go, okay, and why am I being paranoid? What kind of consciousness do I have to actually go, okay, where is this coming from? And like, how did I like fix this? Like using it as a tool, like if I'm taking the effect to reflect on the actions of the thoughts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does that make any sense?
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to work through it, right? The interesting question is that if you work through it psychologically, or if you just work through it, is there a difference? Because there's a lot of things with, say, cannabis in particular, that like dry mouth or red eye, that are kind of like they're acute reactions because of an intolerance to it. Once you get a tolerance to it, then those acute reactions no longer are no longer there. They're no longer symptoms, right? So you no longer get red eye, you no longer get dry mouth, you no longer get paranoid, you no longer get right. So at least as far as the way I understand it from my experiences, it is a product because if I was to like stop smoking for a while and then start again, even with a good strain that's less likely to give me paranoia, I might
does it actually give you paranoia? Is that a symptom out of it? Or like
absolutely.
I used to get
cannabis.
paranoia.
You get paranoia from cannabis. It's a normal symptom of absolutely.
Cannabis.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Like if somebody
I thought
eats
it was
a pot
just a myth.
cookie and
I
thinks
thought
they're
it
gonna
was just a
die, again, that's like
my paranoia is like
one out of
fucking
five.
my house break in or someone's trying to get me. Or
sure,
I just get
whatever.
weird.
Yeah. Who knows, man? It's just
that's catastrophizing, but that's in your head, bro.
the thing is that
Has anyone broken into your house since then?
No. I just think those things.
No, I know.
People
but,
have.
like,
No,
the mind is
no.
powerful.
It's been years.
so
No.
it could be
My mind's
could be
screws
things
me
that
over.
are in your mind all the time
Yeah.
that you're simply blocking out
Yeah.
most of the time, and then you get high, and then now you have a hard time blocking them out.
Yeah. Okay,
because
that
your
makes sense.
Latin
Like
inhibition
trauma.
has been lowered.
Like
So
trauma
then
or
he's
whatever.
right. So the more
Sure.
work you do
But
sober,
survival
the more
too.
Yeah.
healing.
Right? I mean, it's trauma.
Yeah, that's all right. The more healing you.
Sorry, Garrett. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, he's absolutely bang on, right? So the more healing that you do naturally in a sober state, then you'll be able to meet the weed that in the middle, and you'll be less paranoid because you're actually working on your subconscious. By
But the thing is, I've always been a paranoid person too.
Well,
Like
no,
even if I didn't smoke weed or whatever.
Yeah. But no. The thing is that with the tolerance, you're less likely to be paranoid after a while because the thing is that it doesn't serve you any function
No.
as a person. So if you continue using cannabis and you just work through the paranoia, then it goes away.
Fine.
The same as the red eyes and the dry mouth, and it just goes away.
So that helps me out because it's just
Your brain figures out how to shut that part down,
Things
and
off.
not other things. Well, absolutely, dude, because it's uncomfortable, and it's if you continue to use it, like say you had to use it because of a medical condition or something, then you'd probably be okay. But the first while, if you get really
I like
paranoid
the feeling
and fucked up
after
and scared, and,
I like the fight. I don't know what it is. I like
Yeah.
the
if I
fight.
drank a beer right now, I'd just get cooked.
Yeah, but I like the fight of like fighting over like I didn't do bad. I didn't piss that person off. I didn't like reflecting. It's like I guess I determine reflecting on my days and stuff of how I reflect it is more of a negative.
That's
thing,
why
right?
journaling's good, right? And I can already see in your mannerisms, Roger, and that you know what that's why journaling's good. Journaling would be good. I have 2 or 3 journals, and I can see in your mannerisms and how you are that even just sitting with yourself and just really trying to be like aware and just relaxing and just really concentrating on your breathing for 10 minutes a day would probably really help you out. Then you can actually start facing.
I do.
thoughts. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's the self,
and that's where it comes back to like
breathing's a hack.
But the thing is like
Breathing's a hack.
It's a fucking hack.
It's a good diversion. It's
I got another book
way
for
to
you.
focus. It's a good
Look into Wim Hof. Wim Hof, he's called the Iceman. He's like a breathing fucking wizard. The guy runs up mountains and fucking glaciers in his shorts and fucking bare feet, and he swims a mile or 2 under ice.
Sounds like my brother.
Well, it's because it's mind over matter and breath work.
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, that's how I ran up the mountain when we were filming Warborn.
Oh,
It was like a 45-minute walk, and I ran up and down it in like 12 minutes.
because you're stoked.
Because I can run really good uphill, and I've got
I wouldn't want to run and hurt myself. My hip would pop out or something.
exercises and stuff when I was like still something teen, right? So I've got a lot of years, and it's second nature. Even with the smoking,
Yeah, it's been a long time,
I'd finish a
actually.
cigarette and run up a mountain.
Been a long fucking time.
It's definitely mine. That's what David Goggins, another guy, talks about. The guy will run like triathlon after triathlon after triathlon. He's got a book called Can't Hurt Me. Another guy you can find on YouTube, and he's like, when you're doing like, you got to do sets of 10 reps, right? You get to 8, you're like, your brain's like, no, fuck this. But if you shut that off, the enemy mind is it's called, you can get that next 9, that next 10, you might even get that 11, right? You start pushing that neuroplasticity, that fucking thing a little farther each time. It's the Kaizen principle, man. The journey of 1,000 steps, right? Or the journey of 1,000 steps begins with one single step. You start looking at all the stuff and too much. Like, I gotta climb that mountain. Well, how about we just get to the base of the fucking mountain, we set up camp, and then the next day we start climbing a little bit. That's how you should relate all of your journey and all of everything in a sense, right? And just
it tells your conscious mind. It tells your conscious mind to fuck off too, right? Like, it's like,
yeah, fuck off, right? Please shut up.
So at that point, well, we're even enemy mind is really
I like that
abstract,
enemy mind,
but it's the outer shell. It's our consciousness. It's the onions, the outermost onion skin that complicates everything. It gets in the way. It thinks that it's something, and it's really not. It's like it's the 2% of our actual self.
Well, that's what exactly I saw. Yeah, that's what I saw. A diagram. A diagram. It showed a circle, and it showed like a little tiny speck in the middle of the circle. It says the amount that people care what you've done today, and the rest of it's like what you've done today, right? You know what I mean? Like, like people aren't like you walk down the street, people aren't gonna think negative about you or something like that, or like you like have the disposition to be like, oh, what have I done, or whatever. Like,
why is that person? So look, why did that girl look at me that way? Why did that guy look at me like that?
But no, like,
you
more
can't
like
take any of that on.
No, you know exactly, and like.
That's actually funny to bring that up, because I had a counselor show me this piece of paper a long time ago, way early in the years and years in the very beginning, when I was like, okay, I got an addiction I got to deal with, right? That was one of the first. She showed me. It was basically saying, like, when you're walking down the street and someone looks at you like that, we automatically go, oh fuck, why did they look at me like that? Meanwhile, that person could legitimately just lost their dog.
Not even give a fuck. Yeah,
they
exactly.
Happened to look at you, and now you're taking that on and letting it run through your head.
Yeah. But it becoming a negative influence upon your brain, the evil brain or whatever. Yeah, evil mind.
Well, I call it the enemy mind, and actually that's from John Joseph, who's like a fucking.
I like that.
Well, basically, you wake up in the morning, right, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Or I'll get home from work. Like, basically, when you know you need to do something, your mind's telling you, no. You're the resistance. James Pressfield talks about that. And that's what the enemy mind. It's essentially just your brain trying to tell you not to be comfortable. Your brain's trying to kill you, but really it's killing you.
It doesn't affect my way of living and stuff like that. Like I have a predetermined way of what I do weekly or daily. And so like I wake up at 11:11 and then I go to work, and then I come home, I walk the dog, blah blah, and then I smoke a joint, have a few beer, wake up, go to bed, and it's predetermined. Like there's not much.
Yeah, but Roger, what are things that projects or aspirations?
Oh, you've seen them. You've seen them on Instagram.
I know, Instagram. Do you ever feel resistance towards anything? Like you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make my bed. I don't want to do. There's got to be something.
I don't make it.
Okay, well you should.
Yeah, I don't want to go to work.
I prefer not to make my bed. I don't think that makes you a better person.
Why make a bed? You're going to get back in the bed.
Not in the fucking military.
You're going to go back into bed to make a mess of a bed. Why do you make the bed?
Don't don't jizz all over your sheets and then throw the blanket over it.
Yeah,
let it dry. With the sheets off.
I'm a different person. Like I'm like trying to find my optimal capacity to like. I'm trying to
see. The thing is, you have more motivation through my like whole self and everything else more than I already have. Like me, I'm so comfortable or where I am,
and that's fine if you're happy.
Yeah.
If you're truly happy.
I wish I had the motivation and like this like go and get there. I don't know.
Do what?
I don't know.
What do you want to do, Roger?
I don't know.
I don't even know if I like sometimes I like I'm like, oh, I boned myself because I slept in and there's this something or something.
Yeah, like,
and then I'm like, oh, that was dumb. But this is very often not the case.
exciting people. No, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing or like
optimums.
something. It's like
maybe, but
awesome people
getting
like
up at 6 a.m.
that's not
and
optimal
making
at all.
your bed, and like there's not necessarily anything optimal to that, right? Like there's reasons behind things. People do things for reasons. People got up at 4:30 to make sure that they had their cows fed. They would have slept till 8 legitimately, right? So we make values for ourselves. But the values that we're not necessarily going to share with other people. If you value waking up at 6, getting your stuff done, slamming the day, making your bed, and if making your bed motivates you to do something else because you've got a domino effect where this leads to that, hammer, and it motivates you, then that's fine, right? Yeah. And then if somebody has a problem, maybe they can use your method. But the fact that you found it for yourself is great, and really milk that shit. But everybody's different, and the same value system might not work. Right.
Well, for my goals are different though, right? Like I want to start my own podcast. I want to be more. I want to be a social media influencer. I want to start my business. I'm going to go back to school. I'm quitting construction in June because it's a toxic fucking hellhole. I want to spend the next 5 years in grind time. You know what I mean? And for me in particular, that requires a lot of regiment because I don't want to work for anybody anymore. So that for me in particular is what the people that I follow, all these people that I've mentioned to you, these are lives that they live. They inspire me. And in order to get out of my addiction and to get into more entrepreneurship or success in music and everything else that I'm dreaming of, that's what's required of me. But I don't impose that on anyone else. Yes, if you're happy like Adam is and content with not making your bed and sleeping in, and you're doing all right, then fuck that.
I think you're trying to get the point across is that it's nice to hear people with a voice. You know what I mean? It's nice to hear people with a voice. You know what I mean? Like you're the you know what I mean? Like it's good
because the value, right? Like you say, sleeping in, the values that we hold end up becoming axiomatic, and there's
it's like me waking up at 11:11 every day. I wake up at 11:11 every day.
There's no biblical wake up time, right?
11:11.
Even with like philosophy. I'm not sure that there's any solid philosophy like this time's better than that time. The thing is if you can't do the things that you need to do, then it's not the right time. Right? That's really it. If you don't do the things that you should be doing, the time's not necessarily the cause. The time's not necessarily the problem. Time just depends on what you're doing. Time isn't necessarily very relevant, right?
But think about how hard it is to get up at 5 a.m.
Oh God, I wouldn't do it. You couldn't pay me.
Though.
You couldn't pay me.
It's not hard, right?
Couldn't pay me.
When you get up at 5 a.m. every day.
Yeah, my wife does it every day.
You go to bed at 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
And it's not hard.
No, my wife does
What's hard is getting up at 5 if you get up at 7, right? We really do adjust.
Yeah.
We adjust quickly. That's the only way that you can work night shifts and stuff like that. People that work night shifts aren't worse people.
No,
because they don't. It's just again, it's what we need to do to move forward, and power to whatever works. Shit, like I'm not in the position in my life where I'm like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna actually, I kind of am. I really kind of am. Like I could use more productivity. Really, at
that comes with discipline.
Well, it does. It does.
But what comes down to productivity, though?
For the most part, I don't.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't.
What? Sorry, Adam. Continue.
For the most part, it's just a matter of when things can get done. You don't have to eat. You don't have to eat within 30 minutes of when you wake up, and you don't have to have 3 meals a day. You don't have to, wash your hair every day. You don't have to. Like, there's things that you do want to do every day.
Upkeep.
There's not things that you have to do. There you go, 5 meals a day. right?
I eat
It's
a
a
meal a
gym.
day. Eat a meal a day. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not even close to where I want to be yet, but like that's what required of
neither.
what I want to do.
it's
I want to be
5:56 and I haven't eaten yet today.
No, Jesus.
Yeah,
I have eaten.
Well, I
And
guess
I've been
the
up
point
since
what I'm
food.
trying to make is that
Eight.
like you want to be more disciplined in your life to achieve the things you want. I suppose that's what it takes.
you have to do the things if you want them to get done. Yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly. But depending on what you want done,
depending
depends on the
exactly.
person.
That's just it, right?
Like I don't want to go out and BMX bike and do flips or do skateboarding. Or like, I don't want to go for a run. I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to.
Yeah, and everything kind of has its like everything's kind of got its fuck scale too.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like
how many
do
fucks
I
does
really need
this
to do
cost me,
this?
and do I have them?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
Where it's
I took
like,
some advice from Adam. He said to me like when we were doing the podcast before, like it'd be a lot more beneficial to actually have a degree behind you if you want to become a mental health podcaster. So I'm like going to take on the challenge of getting my master's degree and getting into. I mean, it's going to be a long road, but in order to like achieve those goals, pardon? Yeah, it's going to be a long road. There's courses you can take through Vancouver Community College that'll get you into a job already, and then you do it, and then from there I can like get my master's. But I still want to train, meal prep, vocals, bands, all this stuff, and be like just because my current job in construction is so consuming. Like right now I have a crew that I'm actually pretty happy with, but getting up, going to work, working 9 hours in this heat,
And being
I
the
get
boss.
home and I have no motivation.
And you're grumpy,
so
probably
fucking tired.
tired, grumpy, sweaty.
It's not a life I want to live anymore, right? At all. I don't want to. I want to break out of that fucking mold. I'm done with it. So in order to do that, I personally am and to go to school and to be taken seriously and to do all this stuff, I'm going to need discipline, serious discipline, and to be taken seriously too.
And a budget, budget's discipline. Like
well,
you got to figure out.
It could be your personality type too, and I think if a person can discover that about themselves earlier, the better for them. My sister's very much personality type of hyper organized and scheduled and meticulous and
she's successful, right?
yeah, and it works for her. Right? It was fitness, very very fitness, fitness lifestyle and everything.
I want to age gracefully
loves it.
too, right? And that comes with nutrition and fitness.
Not my
to be
thing, but I respect it.
Still making fucking money and doing my job. Sorry, what was that, Adam?
I said it's not my thing, but I respect it. Like I wouldn't mind maybe getting more exercise, but I'm way more low core, less extreme, less like this is the goal. It's the goal for me is just to like again longevity, not breaking my hip.
What happens if your hip pops out?
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe even again, bike or something. I don't know. Talk to a doctor. What's good at that? Talk to a kinesiologist, maybe. But for myself, I'm not going to gain weight, and I can do all the things that I need to do. It's just a matter of maintaining that, right? But it doesn't take much. The thing is that if I was to actually like bulk up, it'd be counterproductive at this time in my life.
It'd be hard for you because you're a harsh ectomorph.
Well,
but I could do it though.
I think all Adam would need is for you, Adam. Like you were like, I would literally just do more running, like push-ups, sit-ups,
running's
pull-ups.
horrible for me.
What?
Running's horrible for me. The knees and hips and it's just joint hell. Running's terrible.
Well, push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's just so that you can like take a fall on the ice and not break your stuff. Is basically it. But the more you weigh and the more you
I break myself.
the more you have to take care of it, and the more the harder it is to maintain later in life. So I don't want to bulk up, right? And I don't think I could. In fact, I'm pretty sure I couldn't because all the times that I've worked out of my life, I've never ever bulked up.
Roger, mute yourself, buds, if you're gonna chat.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, it's it's all good. Like, I mean, I think I could still bulk up pretty good into like I don't want to bulk up to be insane, but I think I could bulk up to a really decent fitness level to maintain a really really healthy mental state and maintain that well into my 60s. Like, I mean, it's possible. but nothing like extreme. But I just want to look great, and I want to age gracefully, and I want to be productive. You know, like well into my fucking 80s, man, or just whatever. But I just think that discipline's important.
There's a walk back that people have to do. The more you bulk up, the more you kind of have to tone and stuff in the end, because it's just,
that maintenance is a lot easier though than bulking.
No, it is. Yeah. No, for me to bulk, I'd have to take something. Like if I took roids.
Well, what do you weigh?
Me now, I weigh a big ass
110 pounds.
160.
160. I'm like 210.
160 is the heaviest I've ever been.
60, boy, say fuck this shit.
Yeah, I mean, if I roided, then I'd be able to do it. But it's,
I got the mass to do it with. So
you got a good frame, but so get out there and jog.
It was there before.
Pipes. Yeah. Oh God, eh? Let's take a coffee break. 5 minutes.
Coffee break.
I need a coffee. Quick air out of the place. Water. 5 minutes. BRB. Well, I was gonna have a cookie, but since we're all back, let's continue.
Kind of cookie.
Right now I've got cranberry, white chocolate, something.
That'd be good.
It's fucking delicious.
Hey Adam, how's the Patreon and the podcast going? You got subscribers?
Oh, we just got our 4 millionth subscriber. It's good.
Have you?
No, we don't have any.
No.
Yeah, it's Patreon's a pretty slow process, right? There's no viewers really. Viewers are hard.
What is the podcast about?
Viewers
are view it?
Hard.
Are they so hard? How hard are they? All right. No, but what is it? What's the? Yeah. Well, send me the link then. I'll be a viewer.
You've never seen our podcast that you're on right now? You're on it right now.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the exciting part.
Yeah.
Is YouTube popping off?
It's trickly. It's trickle. You know? YouTube doesn't give a shit about you until you get lots and lots and lots of stuff. And
Garrett was on YouTube. Come on, here's Garrett. Graham was on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Gert,
yogurt.
Yeah. No, YouTube's a tough nut. I mean, it takes time. What do you do?
Yeah, it wasn't anything important.
Like I said, there's 10. If there's 10 viewers, I'm happy.
I think our Warborn video got like 2,000.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I've got videos of me like changing the hydroton in a water farm bucket hydroponic video that's got 24,000 views or some shit, right? I mean,
it's something.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard with hashtags.
Algorithms, too, man.
Yeah, it's algorithms. I guess.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't make a podcast on myself. Like have some. Like I don't know. I guess I could if I really tried, but taking the effort to do it.
What are you? You've got Danny come. You've had Danny come in and step in and with you. Have you been doing it by yourself?
No, I've been doing it with Danny.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I've been working on some good topics, but no, I'm not sure if it's the topics just aren't popular or if that it's just the algorithm. And
I think we've come off the topic we've come off the topic of addiction and recovery, but
well, it's like we've had lots of topics in the past.
Yeah, in the past.
And the clips are named. No, I mean,
just with yours, with the whole thing,
yeah. But and it's trickly. I guess people search for stuff and then it comes up in a list and it trickle until.
You can have good thumbnails. Your thumbnails are great though.
They're okay. I quite often wonder. We're gonna have to change things up as time goes on and try different things because they're not they're not. I'm not cracking into it like I'd like. That's for sure. If I had a video of washing roots, how to wash roots, it'd get like 3,000 views in a week without even trying. So I don't know.
Well, I think that's another thing with the Keeping It Heavy podcast that I want to do. I think that would get smacks because of just some of the relatable topic matter as well. But I think it's algorithms and I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, either because a lot of the topics are behavioral related, or they're self improvement related, or they're, like a lot of them are like aliens, and I try not to go. I'm trying not to clickbait, but it definitely don't.
Okay. Talking about aliens, okay, so think about it. Like, there has to be, like, out of the 16 billion different species on this freaking planet, how many there has to be some reason they're all on one planet. We haven't seen anything, but the thing is, like, you'd have to think about it. If we were would you, looking upon the human race and how the religions are destroying other religions, and how the depiction of what you look like and how people behave are depending on, like, who's accommodating and who is, like, reacting to it, would you come down knowing that you looked weirder than everybody else? Like, having an open mind to that. I don't know. Like, if I was an alien and had a third arm and shit, I wouldn't come down here and be like, "Hey, how you guys doing?"
I think aliens have been coming here for thousands of
years. For sure they've been here, but they're not gonna be like introduce themselves.
Maybe.
I think they have.
Maybe it's assuming that they look different. Well, if you go by the ancient aliens theory, then they genetically modified us with their own genes and the genes of the erectus, in which case we look and then we're similar to them. Anyway, they might even be passable as us. Yeah.
We were just genetically engineered to like farm the lands and create products and shiny things.
Even if it wasn't genetic engineering, like the story kind of talks about breeding, all right? Because the story is that they start fucking humans, and then they end up having demigods, and then the demigods. Then you have to take
the time and effort to create different colors and different everything else, like to depict like where you put the African American people, or where you put the Chinese, or where you put, and like that's a lot of thought pattern that they took into time and effort to go, hey, put you placed out where we want you, and then see how things flow. It's like, hey, you guys go there because the weather there is great for you guys, and then you go here, and the frogs live there because that's the best spot for them.
And then the time spans just don't work, right? Like, I mean, none
of them work. None of them work.
Ancient alien theory breaks down incredible once you start contrasting it with reality, right? It's in context to the story of the Chaldean people and how the Chaldean people became a civilization. That's their story. But we're talking 6400 before present era, and it's not. But it's also the fact that like the inception of the different,
everybody's time period groups is different for how they perceived things happening back then. Like in certain BC, this happened, and then China's like 2,000 years ahead of us, and then the other Arabs and stuff and the Egyptians are all different time zones, right? And so they were done different era of growth.
And why does everybody have pyramids if they didn't even have communication back then?
Well, they did have communication back then. They had little guys that ran really fast.
Yeah. No, and they really did, right? In fact, you can kind of age a culture by the whether or not they have a pyramid type thing, or what they literally employ. Like, say, the South Americans, they brought that ability with them, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, the telephone back then was different too, but the Mayans had towers and different temples. It's still the pyramid, and it's still, but the thing is that they used the product that they had in their terrain, and in their terrain they had that, they create that, but then you go to sand, they had to create it that way, and then in the other country they had
haul it in. They hauled it in. They brought it
Yeah.
in, hauled it in.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the
diamond
ziggurats are more sophisticated, less talked about than the pyramids, but more sophisticated. And they're a step pyramid for observing the planets, but they're even earlier than a lot of the pyramids that come out, right?
Yeah.
But they, if they all come out and start emerging at around 5,000 to 7,000 years, and it coincides with, it's likely that they brought that with them to the place that they are from where they came from, like is the case, right?
Like I myself, I don't try to, like, you guys talk about social media and things like that.
They had metal
like that
in South America too, right? They had metal. Right.
Yeah,
So North America didn't have metal, but South America had metal. So
they did.
They wherever they came from, or somebody came there at some point, and
well, the Egyptians had batteries. They had the citrus and then the coils of copper, and then in the vases and stuff. They had things like that in the creation.
Yeah, for electroplating.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, like, and also it goes down to like the creation of the boom that we had from the 80s, like even before the 80s, the boom of technology has upgraded so quickly. Like, if you look at the back, it took years and it took power of man to create these big, huge, great things. And now it's like boom, 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 boom. It's just
we did that so quickly. Like, wouldn't you? That's considering how old humanity is. Like, how old is the human race essentially? Like once we started walking on 2 feet and humping and making tools and building shit.
Well, yeah. Well,
that's.
Or
really
did
old.
we straight up come up?
As far as walking on 2 feet, you're talking about the Anthropithecus, which isn't human, but that's like Lucy is. That's the bare feet in the. That was in the riverbed.
But
as far as and they're hominin, right? But as far as actual homos, then that would
it
be.
It could also be an ark. We could have had an ark.
Homo habilis, I believe, or Denisovian might be homo.
I guess it is the snowball effect, though, too, right?
It's a long time ago, either way, because Homo heidelbergensis then leads to Homo neanderthalis, then leads to Homo sapiens, and Erectus are in there somewhere. We're probably missing a ton, but that's old. Is that? It might be as long as different sources say different things, but it could be, say, like 160 to 250,000 years,
and only 120 years of technology.
Well,
yeah, and only 6,400 years of known recorded art,
fight between
culture, society.
Yeah, and then we fought over technology when we were creating it, and we killed the electric car back in the day. We could have had electric cars way earlier than what we were supposed to have them. And then since now this global pandemic and everything else, now we get electric cars. Now we're trying to save the planet. But no, we could have done that years ago if people listened.
It's debatable.
People listened.
It's debatable whether or not we could have.
Well,
I don't agree. I'll officially disagree to that. Yeah. They existed. But something existing and something being able to replace something else in society is two different things. And
very true.
The prohibition on electric cars was the lack of battery and the lack of
technology
performance.
To create.
It was a technological problem.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was why Tesla wanted to create a new battery, and so they had to create a car to facilitate this new battery. Yeah. And that was really how they did it, because it's a battery technology that can facilitate then an electric car. Otherwise, at that back, because the oldest car, some of the oldest cars in the world were electric, right? We just in case for context doesn't know, if anybody doesn't know, we all come from Maple Ridge, or we spent time in Maple Ridge.
Yep.
Maple Ridge has the second hydroelectric plant ever built in the world.
Wow.
Right? The first one was at Niagara Falls. And the second one was at Stave Lake, right? It was built in 1907, right? So this is super old. The dam's been decommissioned, but the first electric car ever made by Henry Ford is inside it's a museum now. Museum of, ancient fucking AC electricity. But yeah, the car's in there. And
where's the museum?
the museum's at Stave. The Stave Dam.
Yeah?
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. You can go there and see it.
No way, I didn't know.
Maple Ridge.
Wow. In Maple Ridge. Maple Ridge is famous for like dam because that was what gave AC power to all of the Greater Vancouver area. Right? Wow. Before that, New West was a really important hub because New West had DC power distribution. And so you'd have a DC plant and then you'd have a whole bunch of industrial places packed around it because it had a limited distance that it can go, right? And then AC was invented. The first power plant's 1903, 1904. Wow. And then that's Niagara Falls. And then boom, 1907 in Stave. But yeah, I like electric cars. But there's drawbacks too, right? Like the battery technology is... if everybody in the fucking world
power goes out,
a battery like the Tesla has, we would start to have we have questionable amounts of resources for that. It's the same thing as the copper that we have in the entire world. If everybody in the world wanted to have power lines,
how much copper would be? Yeah.
If they wanted power lines though, like in their houses, so that they could power electric cars and all that sort of shit, or even just have power. Like if the whole world wanted to modernize like the West, the amount of copper that would require just to run lines, we're talking. We need to start mining other planets. Legit. I'm not kidding you. Like legit. One of the first things that we're going to run out of is helium.
Yeah. Helium.
Copper and stuff. That'll come if billions of people want wired electricity. It's like, what do we do?
I know, that's what I mean. Like, if you take technology away from everybody would just be a little irritable.
To say the least.
We have to make it more accessible, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be technology is going to be more accessible, but private stuff like private ownership maybe less accessible.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I could live in a cabin in the middle of nowhere and be happy. And
you will own nothing. And you will be happy. Well, that's the World Economic Forum, is that they want everybody to own nothing. So private ownership of goods and estates and stuff is just gone. And
it's like I have friends that do that too. Like they're living off the grid and they go and they just live, but they're really actually still on the grid.
It's not off the grid though.
No, exactly.
The World Economic Forum doesn't want anybody off the grid. Yeah. In fact, you'd probably get fined for trying to have a solar panel or something.
That's why they have. Yeah, exactly.
You must be connected.
Yeah, somehow.
People in Alaska. You ever seen those shows on fucking
man.
Alaska Survival and Homestead?
It's called porn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fucking porn. That, oh yeah, dude. And I got to go hunt my moose. You're like, keep talking. I'm rewinding 10 seconds. Yeah, replay. Talk about the moose. Okay, sorry.
It is fascinating. I love the
eat that seal's eye.
Goes all the time. They're totally interesting because these people are fucking hard. And what
they're
are
hardcore.
they? Disciplined, man. They're so fucking to get up that, and they get up fucking balls early.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Except go fishing and go eat food.
Yeah, it's like your only video games is on your phone.
But theirs is shooting a deer.
Yeah, there's nothing to do except for have a fire and play guitar for a bit and then go to sleep. And then you wake up and it's like the sun's barely cracking.
Perfect.
And
sounds perfect.
That's a beautiful life. You really
actually,
it is kind of. It is kind of, but then winter comes and you're like, goodbye, sun.
Then you wear the deer, you wear the
4 months.
Or the bear.
You wear the deer, you wear the beard.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you beard up and grow your pubic hair back, but...
Well, they got their communities to hang out and hump each other.
And keep warm.
It's just dark.
It's like the game... Would you ever do the Alone game? Like the Alone TV show? Like just go out...
Naked and brave?
Oh, no, Alone.
I want to go watch that now, actually.
Alone. Yeah. And just go out and just do... I think that's what society needs. I think that's it. the people actually have to like understand, like we're not gonna survive on this plastic genetically engineered shit for long. Like there's gonna be a time where we actually have to fight and work and like survive. I don't know, like that's just, it might not come in my time. I don't know.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, China's going to take over.
No, China's not going to take over.
Prepare for
They're already
worst.
here.
It was like the gardening thing when you asked me, Garrett, do you need to like quit your job and go learn to garden? And I said, well, if you want independence of your food, then learning to garden is a good step.
Yeah.
At least a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, I have a full garden in the back.
Total prepper and some shit, but fuck, knowing
I
how to take care of yourself, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, exactly.
Yeah, like I don't know what I would do if the fucking lights went out. I would be like, I'd run to my buddy Skiff's house and be like, "Hey, bud, show me what you got. I'll chop wood. I'd be the labor guy. I'd go. I'm like, I'll build stuff and carry things."
And he's
that's the thing about like,
I need a generator. Go get me a coconut and 2 pineapples and old radio and a leaf. Yeah, he's suddenly the professor on fucking.
Why do you need a generator though? You don't need a generator.
To play the fucking metal, man.
To get your computer started.
No, it's
working.
It's good, but hopefully we don't need it. But the more prepared you are, the better. I think
it's a thought. Yeah, exactly.
We're always going to be weakly prepared. So
yeah. I don't know. Society's scary nowadays. That's all.
Yeah, even some of the skills we have are based off of the availability of high electricity power.
What I never believed in school, like the skills that school tries to give you. It's depending on what you want to do and like how you want to survive and what you want to actually you're like into doing. Like if you want to be that mechanic or whatever, you know what I'm getting the point at is like with most of the skills that it becomes more of a social experiment than anything else. Like back in the day, but now it's more. I want to go back to school and do all this stuff and learn something new, but I don't want to have to go through the history and the math and shit like that unless it's depending on what I want to do.
Yeah.
When I fucking get rich off YouTube and my counseling and my private practice, I'm just gonna fucking get a little mini commune, grow food, have a yoga studio, have a spiritual center, and everyone's just gonna move there. And we're gonna be independent.
Yeah,
that's
and like.
Cool.
There you go. That's a good life. Like you don't have to be a prepper or preparing for the end times or something like that to live a good life. And that sounds like a good life.
But the thing is, that comes down to the addictions too. All your addictions would have to go out the door because the things to survive you couldn't get. Like if no gas stations, no power, so you have to where you can get cigarettes. Well, now you like you say farming.
Certainly go out the window.
Exactly.
Can't even get rolling papers.
No,
you're gonna run out of Bibles eventually.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And go out with a bang. I'd be like, well, I just go and bring like a fucking bag of booze, and we just get loaded.
But how do we we understand it? But how do we tell people like we need to smarten up and like, hey, get educated about things that actually mean something in life? How is water purified? How are like?
Have you seen kids these days walking around glued to their phones?
Even at the kitchen table, there's like 5 of them, and they're all on their phone in a restaurant. They're just sitting there, not even talking.
Family dinner.
Phone zombies.
Yeah.
Kids and their texting and murder. It's probably
I don't know, man.
Like gardening and homesteading and being a hippie is probably one of the better addictions if it is one. Yeah. You know, like if you're gonna aim to err on the like nature hippie side for sure. Like I'm not saying drink your urine tea cocktails with fucking ginger and turmeric or something, but you know, at the same time,
that sounds
having a little bit of connection, right? I think that's it. Is that people like connection? There's a term. What is it? Disrealism? Or disreality? Or disrealism? Something like that. Anyway, it's just the idea that we tend to feel a real sense of disconnect sometimes. And that is obviously cured by doing things like walking in the forest and feeling the grass on your feet and talking to the birds and hugging trees and being hippie. And, you know, like if you're going to make mistakes in life, that is definitely a better way to go, rather than snorting cocaine off hookers' tits, or injecting methamphetamines into your penis. You know, like this isn't a podcast for kids, but if it ever was a podcast for kids, then you know what they really need to know is the truth. They don't need to know a bunch of, you know, complicated technical shit. It's that this equals that, X equals Y, this behavior equals this damage. And I think the biggest thing with things that are addictive is that we take them with us. I think that's something that I never really realized when I was young, was that you don't get to go back. There's no redos. No. And once you are fucking stamped, it's really hard. Yeah. Like the more you are embossed, or the harder you go into it, the harder it is to dig yourself out of it. And just fucking not doing it, or doing it really lightly, just enough. Like all the drugs that you mentioned, I've done. Yeah, exactly. Just not as much. No, exactly. So like I was never, really, go ahead. Yeah. No, like it's like I say, I think the whole conversation we've been having is amazing, and like your drugs is an addiction and stuff. And like when I did bring up getting in contact with you guys, and it was a big turning point into the drug and addiction stuff, and it was off for a while, and then my buddy died, and then coming up with your guys's voice, and like just the way that I know you guys and what we've had in common, it's helped me along that time. Hey, Garrett, he's really talking about Garrett more than me. Should clarify. Because we caught up recently, but I think you guys were chatting for quite a bit more before that. No. And honestly, if you're going to talk to somebody about that, I'd prefer to talk to Garrett myself. Oh, you know. My bad. No, not bad. I'm just saying, you know. Anyways, with me, it's just more like hooking up with a good friend, old friend, because exactly. Yeah. No. It's not my topic. It's I'm kind of a pussy, considering that my addictions are like what people use to help their addictions. Like people would use what I struggle with to get out of a real addiction, you know. And
you know, and that being,
it is what it is. It's all
I'll go to a CA meeting or a fucking meeting with my life story, and I'm the fucking lightweight. You know, 15 years in severe alcoholism and cycles of fucking torment and breakups and lost jobs. I'll be honest with you right now. It wasn't until I was 35 years old that I was able to hold a job for the first time longer than a year. You know, and I go into these CA meetings, and I'm the like fucking the lightweight in those rooms. In some cases, when I share stuff, it's a little more trivial, like, oh, I don't like my boss, or rah, rah, rah. And like these are like, oh, my brother OD'd yesterday, and it's some days I have a hard time relating, you know, to that. But well, those are big challenges too. If you're struggling, right? Holy fuck. Yeah, and shout out to my guitar player for my upcoming project died. Just a month ago, and he was 2 years clean, and he was actually downtown on the downtown east side in Vancouver working with them, and he'd been doing that. He was like a huge involved in that. I met him on the Stoke the Fire podcast, but I mean that guy had like a severe heroin addiction, and the heat wave took him. Yeah, like sorry. The heat? Yeah, I mean, did you say? Pardon me? Did you say the heat? The heat wave. He had a heart attack during the heat wave. Jeez, that sucks, man. Holy. Yeah, wow. Like, because we were getting ready to record, get him into the studio. But I mean, why I bring that up is just I think that all addiction is relative. I mean, it's suffering. It's suffering, right? But
Well, it is, and it's efficacious. Like my dad had his leg amputated because of smoking, and my girlfriend, she lost her dad because of smoking, and both my parents are probably going to go as a result of smoking. If I hadn't changed my own behavior, guaranteed my death certificate is going to be smoking related, right? Mm-hmm. It's
exactly.
It is impactful on people's lives, and it's really, really crazy brain stuff.
Yeah, it is. Everything. I think anything with with any chemical, you're dealing with a lot of crazy brain stuff.
Oh yeah. I just don't relate to the other ones, but I can at least say that this is and physical sickness, right? Which I was really surprised about, but it's like the least. It's among the less painful things to go through, which is to me wow, fuck. I would hate to have to try to get through something that's
Yeah. And I saw I've seen people crash, and when I was rough into it, and I was doing $200 a day, but I wasn't that bad, but it still worked. And the people I just saw recently, a guy that I was buying stuff off of when I was doing that, and he had all the money and all the girls and everything else and stuff. And now I see him strung out, and from being the man to being worse than, and the guy just walking down the street, right? And it was just what happened?
Dude, that just happened to me too. I was delivering pizzas in Maple Ridge there, and one of the clientele was I ran into on the street. He's out because one of the pizza places I work for goes till 2 a.m. So when you're out there in Maple Ridge at fucking 1:30,
I've been there. No, don't worry, I've been there.
Many fucking people. And so this dude, I would deliver to him, fucking always a $10 tip, sometimes 15. Nice house, big truck in the driveway, family, fucking the guy was ordering lots of food every couple, And then there he was. I was like, holy man. And I had to buy him food because he's like, hey man, can you get me a pizza? I'm like, yeah, no problem, bro. It's just like that.
Yeah.
One fucking bad decision away from a landslide of
something.
Yeah. And looking at the chemicals that are involved, are part of the problem, but two people can take the same chemicals, and one person has they've got issues that the chemical either magnifies or aggravates, or something happens that's different. They use it as an escape, whatever the circumstances are.
I use it as an escape.
It's not just the chemical; it's the chemical combined with the reason you're using it. Probably
because you like
the reason you're using it. Yeah, and you're who knows, right? By the time you realize that you have a problem, the person that you were when you made this decision to start is gone. Well, you might not even why the fuck did I even start doing this? Well, I said with smoking, is that the person who calls himself Adam
when I left
didn't start smoking.
When I left Maple Ridge, I did cocaine since whenever till almost every day till about a year and a half, 2 years ago, like I said. And I've been using it all the time. There was always that drug addiction stuff. And it's the point is now I would do it, I get sick. My brain wouldn't even like it. It would my brain would be like, oh, this is stupid. But now it's what do I find, or why, or do I deal with what I'm left with, right? It's okay, now I have to focus on what now. So it's weird in the sense that I don't crave that, and now I'm trying to fix myself coming off, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you can that's the thing that you do, when you can put down the bottle, you can put away the drugs, you can put down the cigarette or whatever it is. Now we're going back into facing yourself. Yeah. Right? You can quit the fucking booze.
Exactly.
A few different times. I quit the booze for girls, didn't work. I quit the booze for family members, it didn't work. I quit the booze just because I knew it was bad.
But I liked it because it made me think.
okay, I gotta, like, you have to face yourself, and then that comes into in an individual sense that then we're back into discipline, we're back into we're back into spirituality, which is you have to face yourself, and you have to you have to look within. And then when you're looking within and you're doing this work, then the chaos around you, the Netflix, the fucking toxic relationships, the drama, the problems at work, the people at traffic that cut you off, the rude comments on Facebook, all that crazy stuff. Now
that stuff doesn't bother me.
Work you do with yourself, and you'll learn to deal with those emotional a lot easier. Because it's emotional reaction. You're running from yourself. You're doing that much cocaine and that amount of alcoholism that I was sitting in alleyways for months.
Oh, what?
There was one time where I spent 2 years just sitting in alleyways drinking booze by myself, straight out of the bottle. Wow. The only connection I had with people, and the problem is that Caitlin, my friend Caitlin, my friends, they all just rejected me. Yeah. Right. So now I have no community left because they're like, Garrett's a fucking
friends.
All our booze. Yeah. Now I'm left by myself to fucking deal with my own problems.
Now you're just going on a tangent.
So community and connection are a very big thing, and you need community and a connection with yourself to get to that point. So it's hard. It's very hard struggle.
That's why I found my wife when my wife helped, and your people around you probably helped.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There are people in bands and people in situations that made it fucking way harder for sure because they don't understand.
Oh, okay.
No, but other people did help. I had people that helped.
No, there's always going to be that difference.
The best thing you do is just to clean house, so that there's no misunderstanding about it. Okay, Garrett's sober or Roger's sober now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. As long as because the thing is me not knowing many people, I know 5 people, and that's all I know, except for the people at work, and that's all I interact with. And then getting with you guys, and then talking to the guys that I meet, and it's just it's awesome to meet great people and have technology and psychology and physics and conversations, and to know that people have that open-mindedness, right? And not take it to heart to say that you've had a topic that we're talking about that might upset someone, but that brings conversation and different people's opinions. And creates the goodness that that we have, you know what I mean? Let the knowledge flow.
Self-love, man. Self-love, and external love. Loving people. It's just love. I mean, you gotta try to love
yourself first,
and then
sing every morning.
You gotta love yourself, and then you can be, and then you go. I never knew what that meant. I just gotta love yourself, man. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? I struggled with that for so long, and that really just means, it just really does mean discipline, taking care of yourself, fucking meeting your deadlines, doing your projects, being artistic, expressing yourself. Being
means that
yourself.
to you, yeah.
It means that to me, but I think in general it means.
I don't
what
think
does
it means
self-love
that.
mean? What does it mean to you, Adam?
I think it's empathy. It's empathy for yourself. It's understanding that you are a human with human conditions, and understanding, giving yourself understanding. You don't have to be I don't think that people should be light on themselves or forgiving, but you have to be able to love. First of all, find out who you are, and then learn to accept it. So really, this loving yourself is just part of simple child to adult development, where once we realize ourselves, we're really shy about it. We're quite coy. We don't like attention. Somebody says your name and it feels awkward because you're a kind of a raw ego, and you're just getting used to yourself. Over time, you're fine,
Okay.
Well, yeah, and it's funny, man, because I was reliving part of my childhood through wrestling recently. Everyone's seen my post with wrestling. I'm wearing an Ultimate Warrior shirt, and I was and it's funny, even watching all those documentaries now, that all my heroes back then were suffered from mental illness and addiction, all kinds of crazy shit, right? But just even reconnecting with that inner child, that we forgot about.
I've never left it.
Well, it eventually it eventually matures, right? That's
not unless you don't want it to.
Yeah, but does it harden or mature? I think society teaches us to harden the child and stop living in a
beat the child.
You need to live in a childlike wonder. You have to be responsible, mature, not an idiot. But you still have to explore you still have to be childlike.
Childlike wonder you don't have to have childlike wonder. I think childlike wonder is best to lead to adult-like wonder. Adult-like wonder has more answers, but it leads to more questions. Yeah, and life never ends. Like the wonder part of life, and the even trying to find answers or whatever like that, it doesn't limit it. It just makes it bigger. It's like a scientist. Go ahead.
It comes into the fact is it grows. You don't lose it. It just changes aspects. Like I'm not into like certain things like my buddies are, and so, but it's amazing they do them. And it's like I'm more into doing what I do, and that's pretty much nothing except like the products I have and this like simplistic things, right? But like I look upon them, I'm like, holy fuck, it's amazing. But then it's just like, well, I could be doing something cool like that too, but.
The artists of the world tend to think that the scientists of the world see things only through the math that they try to describe things from.
That's where
the thing is that they're also seeing things through the artistic light. Right? Now, they don't want to describe it through the artistic light because it's not useful as far as communication goes. But both people, when they look at a flower, can see the beauty of the flower and they experience the same smell and the same appreciation and wonder. It's just that the scientist also understands how cells move different molecules, between different parts of the plant, and how the odor compound shape triggers the olfactory chemical stuff, and the shapes of stuff come from the Fibonacci sequence or come from, the person who understands science doesn't have less of an appreciation for things. No, they probably have more.
Yes. No, it's like looking through a window. You take two people looking through a window and it starts raining. One of the two people look at the rain and say it's raining. The second person looks at the window pane, sees the rain hit the window and drip down. The other person doesn't see that. It looks through the window, right, and sees the rain. But the one person sees the window and sees it dripping down, like the water dripping down and making different patterns.
You're almost saying there, Bob Marley. Some people see it rain, other people get wet.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful perspective of two truths, right? Where sometimes two people can actually be debating two truths from the same thing, just different perspectives. One's looking at the pain and the other one's looking outside. But the ability to appreciate and have a reverie of the world grows with our ability to understand it, and our intuition grows with our ability to understand it as well. So
everybody's growing all the time.
Well, that's the name of the game right there. You gotta grow, and when you like I said, that's what the spark just said. Is like once you put the booze down, once you put the fucking vices down, then it's time.
It's not a vice though.
Time to do the real work, real growth. What's that?
It's not like for me. Things I do aren't vices. They're more things I enjoy doing. It's like eating a whole bag of candy, or eating. But
I would argue that eating a whole bag of candy is probably unhealthy for you.
Yeah, so is this beer.
Yeah, it's a vice.
So it's still enjoyable. It's
fair enough.
Vice to what point? It's not hindering me to do anything. It's not affecting the way it does affect me chemically because it's sugar or it's alcohol.
Well, and we get used to again.
Right?
Anything
that's why, like I said, happiness and self-love. Do you love yourself? Like there's places you can go in the fucking world where in parts of the poorest parts of the world where they have the guy's got his family, his kids. He lives in a little hut with a tarp on it, and he's happy. He doesn't want the sports car. He doesn't want Netflix. He doesn't want your money. He just goes sitting fishes. The guys that live in fucking Alaska that are living on the homesteads, they don't have much. They work super fucking hard.
But they love it.
But they're happy. So I get that is obvious. That's true. Like, so if you're happy with that, then totally. But if you're coming to my fucking podcast or you're liking my stuff on Facebook, going, I'm not happy eating this bag of candy. I'm not happy with the booze. Then I'm gonna show you a different way.
No.
To you though.
Is that
I'm
a
showing
lucky?
anybody.
Is that a
I'm not
lucky
showing
legger?
anybody a different way.
Is that a lucky legger?
Yeah, lucky lager. That's
I haven't had a lucky lager in years.
what we
Yeah,
drink
I don't
in the
mind.
town.
I think beer is really good for people. I think that it's like one of the best things that mankind's ever invented, and the abuse of alcohol that leads to a personal condition that you can't have beer. It sucks. I don't wish that on people.
Yeah.
No,
I wish that for people that they can have things in moderation.
I would never come across to say that the way I do things is better than anybody else's, and to prove
Same
a point.
as tobacco.
Like,
if
yeah,
you can,
no, it's
if
like,
you can
you
do
smoke, you
stuff
don't
in
smoke.
some moderation, like if you have indigenous ceremonial tobacco use, then it's moderation. It's the same thing as if you like smoke weed with other people, or if you only drink with other people because you'll only do it socially. You know, myself, I'll drink by myself if my throat's tickly, but I don't have any association to alcohol and anything else. So, like if Lucy
my alcoholism
wasn't
was
here
not
or something, then I'd
I'm
like
sorry, guys. I'm
drink.
drinking and smoking in front of you. I'm sorry. I
don't care.
apologize.
Okay.
No problem. I have no problem.
But no,
I hang
this
out-
is just it. Is that it's really not a problem, right? And
I
we
know.
can't let anybody
Still have to
else's
apologize.
addictions
trying to be
demonize
respectful.
or discredit the chemical or the like. Beer is fucking great. I love beer, and I'm not really a beer drinker. Look at the history of beer. There's like nothing bad about drinking a beer, even if you drink a beer every day after work. It's not like because the sun went around the fucking planet once that now suddenly you can have one or you can't have one. That's just ridiculous, weird, fucking axiomatic human bullshit thinking. What's the truth is that if it's ruined for you, like nicotine is for me, then it's ruined for you. And if other people can avoid that, because we're done, we're fucked. But if other people can avoid that, then hopefully for them, they can enjoy the taste of a malt beer or the shitty grapefruity of an IPA, as enjoy a cigar, as well, but not feel inclined to like do it, binge it, or like do it while they're alone.
The Joe Rogan podcast, I get so jealous sometimes because he'll be hanging out with some fucking super rad person, and they're sitting there smoking cigars. You can tell Joe's starting to get a little drunk. The other guy's starting to get a little drunk. They're having a really fucking good time, and they're like, yeah, they got no worries. They got the bills are fucking paid. They're living like that. It would be the best fucking serotonin fucking vibe, like. That I admire, they can just, and then, you know what I mean? Like they can just chill and get buzzed up and that's it. It's up early the next morning and at the jiu-jitsu class. So will I be able to rewire my brain over the next decade to the point where maybe I will be able to have some red wine or maybe go
Of course you can. Of course you can. Anybody could.
No, because James Hetfield just went 10 years without drinking, started drinking again. But the singer of Megadeth, Dave, oh my God!
He probably broke up with his girlfriend or something.
Singer
probably had a reason to. Maybe he just wanted
to. David Stearn was able to quit drinking.
I think that's counterproductive to.
I know.
What's that?
He said he probably broke up with his girlfriend or something. He had a good reason to, but.
He's with his
but it said it's counter. I know it was counterproductive.
Specifically when that's when you're tested. Is when you go through the
exactly.
My theory is, and what I'm almost out to prove, is with serious trauma therapy and neuroplasticity and rewiring over years of work through sobriety, because I'm going to claim my first year sobriety here in 6 months without nothing. Yes, I've had a couple tokes of weed. That does not count in my opinion. Fuck right off. So with alcohol though, or cocaine or any hard drugs, 1 year sobriety, I will claim that on Facebook and I'll get a fucking billion likes and it'll be amazing. But from that day forth, I will claim addiction free. Because I will be using medicinal things to enhance my neurology. But what I'm trying to say here is that one day down the road, years of work and spiritual work, maybe I can have a couple drinks, get a little buzz, and wake up the next day and not run to the liquor store and pound straight cheap vodka to escape. But the AA people will tell you that's not possible.
But I think that's the growth of your wiring that makes you go, okay, now I want to focus and make myself better. And so I'm at the point when I can do that is the start of everything too, like you were saying, right?
Sheffield was a 12-stepper. I think he was AA, and that's the thing that they have a lot of limiting beliefs. They just don't. That's just how it is. There's a very profound stuff in the Blue Book. There's a lot of profound things. The group therapy is a lot of stuff, but there's just a lot of limiting beliefs.
It's interesting.
For example, I was at a meeting the other day just because I go once or twice a month because it's a bit too much if I go too much. But I was at the Wolf the other night. Right, went down there after delivering pizzas, and I have near beers. They tagged me and say, hey, we got new near beers, like come have some. Yeah. And you can socialize and you don't feel so weird. The guys at AA, I mentioned that to the guys at AA, and they laughed at me. They laughed. 3 of them looked at me and went, ha ha, yeah, well, if you sit at the barbershop long enough, you'll get a fucking haircut. Now, to me, it's like smashing your head off a fucking glass ceiling. There's such a fucking limiting, weak belief that you're clinging to your fucking sobriety now. So that if something goes wrong, you might just die. Who are you to tell me I can't sit at a bar and have enough willpower to enjoy the company of my
I'm smoking a cigarette. Adam's not going to go have a cigarette. I'm smoking a cigarette, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
It crossed his mind a few times, but the fucking thought probably went in.
That's his own fault, though. That would be his own fault, not mine.
The bar would be a bigger problem than having somebody on Zoom. I mean, if I was like, 8 drinks in and someone's like, hey, you want to go for a smoke? And they didn't know. I'd be like, fuck yeah, I would. Let's go, right? I'd come home with like a carton.
But then but the thing is, I wouldn't know. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, as a person, like, so breaks it down to the people that are good for you and the people that are bad for you when you're growing through this recovery.
The other thing, like, I think a lot of the people that we grew up with were bad for me in my life.
I was bad for everybody.
Like, just certain people. I'm not going to say their names, but there are certain people that we know mutually that I think that also had trauma and also had problems of their own, and our little group was so tight in almost some dysfunctional ways. So like Garrett was picked on.
It exploded.
It's fine. I don't want to get into too much of that.
A lot of people probably have that perception. James Hetfield, that's like that again. If you repack things, he's doing pretty well. Like if you binge drink every 12 years, then you're preventing the type of behavioral and lifestyle problems that cause you problems in life. You're sparing your liver, probably sparing yourself heart disease. Now, in his perspective, he's got this goal and he's got this value system, but I don't share it. I don't share his value system and I don't share his goals. So if he's like, I'm doing poorly because I just fell off the wagon after 12 years. I'd be like, what are you talking about? He'd be like, I just drank after 12 years. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, if you drink.
I don't know the details behind it. There could be
but really, right?
Yeah. Like if
if you're like 4 months, you haven't been sober in 4 months now, because that's what if falling off the wagon means like you're like bender fucking in Las Vegas or something, then that's crazy pants. But if it's just a drink,
I had 11 months clean and sober right before COVID.
Yeah.
And before that, I was right before COVID, so I went 4 months into alcoholism again and super depression. Now I'm 5 months clean. So out of 16 months, I was sober. And then before that, it was another 3 months of fucking blistering addiction and then 6 months sober. So in the last 5 years, I think I've had far more clean time than I have had out.
And we should both we both are the same situation.
There's revolving door addicts like that. Ozzy Osbourne's like that.
Yeah.
But like Jamie Jasta, like one of my biggest mentors of all time, he is a die-hard sober guy. Like he is not fucking ever going to go back. Like, because that every fucking day, 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough, and he just won't do it. So that's cool too.
If it's like installing a piece of software, and even if you uninstall the software, it leaves all the cache files and all the saved files and all the stuff, right? Really, because you can get out of it, but it sticks with you, and just depending on what it is that the problem is, and depending on what it is that you're doing, that might also have to do as well as whether or not you can ever approach it again. Like if your problem was doing a lot of blow and drinking, well, there's pretty good chances that you're not just going to like stumble onto like, a bag of fucking cocaine, like you have to make an effort for that. Whereas if you have one too many, you can have one too many drinks. It's really easy to find alcohol. It's accessible. And it's everywhere.
now that I take that away, right now, like I've had 4 beer, and I would earlier when back in the day I'd just do a ripper cocaine, but now it's like, oh, I should smoke a joint instead.
Is a ripper something special?
No, it's just a fucking line of coke ripper.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the kids' terms
that's
these
funny
days.
you say that, because a lot of guys, I was in treatment once, and I know a lot of people that when they start drinking, then they go to the cocaine. Then their drinking night turns into a 4 or 5 day coke bender.
Exactly.
Drinking, whether it's doing coke, maybe drinking a little bit. My alcoholism, I never got coke. I would just I could do coke right now, get fucked right up, and I will not go back to it the next day at all. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Any hard drugs I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But I
Really,
don't.
interesting.
I don't go to the cocaine after.
Yeah.
But if you have a guy that's recovered from cocaine, I think if you went to the bar and got really fucking drunk right now, and someone said, "Hey, let's do a ripper," I think that the alarm system would go off for you quite a bit.
Or it's already gone off.
Right, but it's fine.
But I want to go smoke a joint. I'm gonna go smoke a joint instead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
like,
great.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, do you think that if you were in a situation, you're fucking 10 beers deep, 5 shots deep, and someone's like, "Hey man, let's do a ripper," would you be?
Yeah.
Shit?
No,
That'd be
my choice. No, I made the choice. But the thing is, like, I still need to. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, the addiction is like. No, I don't even put myself in that situation anyway.
Yeah.
I don't even know anybody.
That's prevention. Is you know.
Stay away. I can call right now and get delivered to me, like right now.
Yeah.
But it's the cost. I have the money. I'm boom. But the thing is, my brain's like, no.
It's just so. It's all so different. It's so individualized, right?
Oh yeah, no, exactly. There we go. I like that point. Individualized, depending on who you are.
Before I moved here, I think I threw out a flap. I'm pretty sure because I usually had a flap like for years. I'll just keep one just in case I had to go out. If somebody's like, "Hey, did you want to come to the bar?" I'm not gonna I wouldn't last. I'd wake up in the morning, 6 in the morning or whatever, right? So I wouldn't last past like midnight unless I had something in my system. So it was like whiskey and cocaine. But I'm not at all into it, and I find it incredibly dangerous. And so,
psychologically and physically, I think the cocaine people are really aggressive, and it's really hard to depict on how they'll become to react with it. And that's where, because things happened when on lots of drugs like that, is that things happen with negative people, so it creates.
But people will also do these like big ass fat lines, and I take the tiniest little bit and bump it up.
Oh no!
And that'd be like 1 in the morning. I'd be at the bar and I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm starting to get a bit sleepy. Boom! I'd take out like the tiniest pinch, bump her up, and I'd be okay. Honestly to God, I think if everybody used it like I used it, it probably wouldn't be a problem in society. Better. But
exactly.
Nobody does that, right? They're just like putting out these
fucking baby arms.
They used to.
Yeah.
Or like in space,
exactly,
like what was it? Heavy metal space. The space guys off Heavy Metal do a space nosedive. But
no, it's just gross. So, it's gross, and it's not my thing. Like I'm a psychoactive. Like I'm into mushrooms and stuff. But
but the thing is, when we knew each other, I did so much acid back then. I can't do it anymore either. Like psychotropic drugs would tweak my brain more negatively, I think, now. It's
pretty a ride, that's for sure. I tried doing it again like 4 years ago or something. And I took a double dose because I thought it was probably expired. You know, I'd been holding on to it for 10 years. I'm like, this is probably expired. So I took twice as much. And I ended up just like laying naked in my bed for 4 hours listening to Tool. That's all I could do.
Nice.
Like I couldn't
back
listen
in
to
the day.
bed.
No shit.
No, this is only like a few years ago. This isn't back in the day.
No, I did that back in the day. That's what I'm saying.
This is, and I couldn't listen to anything because it was all too structured, and it was all too methodological and too crystalline, And then Tool's got like every album in Tool has a song that's like, what's this?
Purpose.
You know, it's like, and you're like, what are they doing? Well,
Welcome to the machine. Yeah.
once you're fucking ripped on fucking too much acid,
But no, I
all
can't do
makes
that.
perfect sense.
Yeah, well,
At that point, I was like, "Oh, I love it." It would all be. It was chaotic. I'm like, "This is good."
I love that feeling.
Yeah, but even Grateful Dead, I was like, "Grateful."
Can we just get that feeling in normal, like, without doing anything? Just get that feeling.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can't we not be so?
Oh no, those songs I couldn't listen to. I couldn't listen to any of that.
Some
I just
say
had
the
to
end
put
is
all the
near.
weird shit on.
Some say we'll see Armageddon soon. Certainly hope we will. I wish I could use a vacation.
Oh yeah, like the one the dude's talking about the aliens. You know,
Prison
it's like,
sex. Yeah.
What's
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
That fucking.
Let the rabbits wear glasses. Save our brother. Gonna get an amen.
Someone
yeah.
debunked that on Facebook for me. Actually, when I was in my fucking nuclear drunkenness, just before that 4 months I was talking about, I was listening to a lot of Art Bell, and then all of a sudden that episode came up where the guy came in on things like, they're gonna triangulate on my position. Well, we're talking about fucking, they've infiltrated military bases, and then he got cut off. Well, Tool, right? They put that on Lateralis. And then I posted about it, and then someone's like, "Oh, that was debunked." The guy came out and said it was fake. So he linked me to the episode, and I fucking listened to it, and holy shit, the guy's voice was spot on. He like came in and was like, "Yeah, Art Bell, that was the guy that did that." It still doesn't explain why the entire grid, like the studio, like went down and lost power, and they were offline for a bit, which is real strange, but. You never know, but anyway, that turned out to be debunked. I was so fucking bummed out because I listened to the guy's voice. I'm like, okay, fuck this.
Made a good song.
Huh?
Made a good song. Oh, it's the intro to a song anyway, right?
No, it's the outro.
Is it the outro?
The outro's like the end of the album, I believe.
Oh, I thought it was.
First time I heard it, I was like hot. I was like at a bus stop by myself in Maybridge, like late at night going home or something, and that came on. I was like, what is this? Ugh, scary.
No, it is. It's just kind of weird on a normal day, but get really messed up, and suddenly its chaos is very comforting. It's like listening to white noise. White noise is like, I'm not a big fan of white noise normally, but when I need a lack of structure, white noise is beautiful.
That's perfect. That Tool album's perfect. I think that's what we're talking about. Even Pink Floyd, man, holy.
Welcome to the machine.
That's pretty structured, but it's still real weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I took, like, normally I would take a pretty healthy dose, right? And I took twice as much. So at that point, it was like, yeah, it was fragile. It was fragile. But on a normal day, then yeah, Pink Floyd or something would be great. Again,
I'm due for
Grateful
a good
Dead.
acid
I love
trip,
the Dead when I'm high.
Maybe that's what I'll do. For my celebration of 1 year sober, I'll go and fucking do like a good acid trip. Adam, you want to
mushrooms?
You want to do a fucking heavy dose of acid with me?
No.
Why?
Because we've done that.
Yeah.
We had one of the best acid trips of my life on Salt Spring with Liquid.
Oh yeah.
That was the most beautiful fucking night. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was unbeatable.
I think that's part of what I'm afraid, like, going back to addiction again here. That's one of the things I'm scared of losing the most is those dazed and confused nights. Those super rare, special fucking nights that you have.
I can just call you every night.
When you are kind of high on, like, when you're drinking tequila and you're out until the fucking wee hours with some weirdos.
Yeah.
Right?
Those are the best times. I talk to people all the time when I'm drunk and stoned, and I was talking to some Scottish people, and they're just the most amazing people that I've come into contact in the past couple of years. And like I say, I don't talk to many people, but it's like just to go and talk value. You're like, the first time I was like, oh my god, and they're like, then they start picking up like, oh my god, just to have like buddies like that, like just to have that, like.
But I mean, like, random nights, like we went to some random party on Salt Spring. We met up. It was a field party DJ thing. We're up all night.
Oh,
we
the-
met girls. We're fucking
Acid trip.
chatting. Then we meet this dreadhead
Yeah.
French guy. He's got
Your story's way better than mine.
the fucking sun. is
Dude, it was like
party, and this guy-
unbelievable.
Dog's asleep.
He had
Yeah,
scotch. He had a case of scotch.
Case
Yeah,
of
it was
scotch.
like-
So he's
That's-
pulling
yeah.
out bottle after bottle. We were
Open it with a
fucked
samurai
up.
sword.
Oh no, it was
I remember that.
no, it
No,
was,
no.
it was bourbon
But
or
I mean,
something.
what
Fucking
say, you know,
Nice.
like I plan to go to Thailand next.
Nice.
June, you know, have some fucking,
Thailand sounds good.
go to fucking Belgium to catch a metal festival, and who's to say I won't
Nice.
partake then, right?
Yeah.
But
no, psychedelics like mushrooms. It's super
do you wanna do a
different.
mushroom trip?
Totally different. Right.
Let's do a mushroom
It's
trip then, Adam.
it's
Too much now.
people still need to be cautious, but it's not the same type of an addictive chemical. Ayahuasca, same thing. It's not available in the same way, and people can become habituated to LSD, and LSD is a little bit kind of a harder, more dangerous chemical.
Oh no.
You have the ability to actually hurt yourself. Whereas, I mean, like, I've like eaten a lot of fucking
If I
mushrooms.
really wanted to feel like I was on acid,
OD'd.
I'd just eat some gummies, drink a bottle of tequila, and smoke 2 joints.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, like some gummies, like because
And
cannabis
there, now I'm on
Eating.
LSD.
is really
That's funny,
psychotropic.
man. That's what happened to me the other night. My like, buddy at Christmas time, my buddy came over. Was like, you know what, man? You should just have a gummy. It's all good. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
are they strong? He's like, no, it's easy. And this guy's a fucking raging. One of my best buds there, and gives me a gummy, and that was it. He passes out on the couch. It's like 2 a.m. I'm just like, holy fuck. Like,
Cookies.
Yeah.
everything in my-
Cookies used to be really, really potent. Like we used to
My
get a
mom comes down,
cookie.
like, are you okay?
That
I'm
was-
like, oh my god.
Yeah, cookies
Yeah.
are crazy potent. But it's again because it's a different bunch of receptors that are in your stomach, and
I think the last time I ate
it's also a different type of cannabinoid because at that point it's been deoxycarbonated, and it's not the same molecule as when you're smoking it. But no, it gets you really fucked up. But it's the difference between having a temporary vacation from your Latin inhibition and your normal survival conscious brain.
Yeah.
Which, if you cut the onion skin open, we are as layered as the onion, and we have the
Don't wanna be an
ability
onion.
to traverse those skins either through meditation and self-exploration or through taking the quick way and using drugs. But the problem with drugs is that you end up having non-linked kind of platforms of experience where if you do take something like LSD, then you can have an extremely deep, profound experience where you are a smarter and more sophisticated consciousness. But when you come down, you lose it completely because you don't have any associative connection to that. You've jumped too far outside of your consciousness's reach, and now you have a hard time drawing things.
Okay.
But if we're using it, I fucking totally agree with you on that, and I'm with you 100%. I've been there, I've had those trips. But if we're using it in a way to if we're using it in a way to rebuild neural pathways to cure depression, addiction, and anxiety, in that sense, I think it's a good jump start to that point. Like to
sure, but what I'm just saying is that you have a detachment from yourself. What's up, Roger?
100%.
No, I was just gonna say, like, if you like the way I used to think about it is that like when it was, I don't know, I was more rated as the guy, like if he wasn't on drugs, he would be weirder than he was on the drugs, right? So I used it as knowing that I could tap into that knowledge of having those thoughts of like intelligence and knowing what I was talking about and like trying to figure out, like, it almost felt like if you break it down, you become more of a smarter person, or you're perceived as a smarter person when you're on drugs than when you're off drugs. You know what I mean? Like, you come with you'd get those emotions flowing, you'd get those neurons clicking and going more profound, and like you're like they're like, holy shit, that was smart. And it's like, yeah, but I'm fucking an 8 ball in and whatever, right? Like, but
yeah, there's the problem too with being so high that you think it's more profound than it is.
Yes.
But,
yeah, no, exactly.
Like once when we were doing like methamphetamines, and it would be like, rather than mushrooms, it was be like, okay, let's all do methamphetamines and hang out. You'd end up having like 3 or 4 of us around a table drawing and doodling and stuff, and it was very productive. And then there'd be a group of 12 people having like a major philosophical debate. And, you know,
that's
it's
why I was always
really
like,
fruitless, but super fun, and not necessarily individually fruitless, because people are exploring themselves at that point.
Yeah,
you know, like
there was time.
Nobody built anything or something, but
then that's where addiction comes in too.
experience.
It's, you're not doing that anymore. You're just trying to crave the drug. You're just trying to get the drug. You're not sitting down at the table anymore, and you're sitting down at the drawing. You're sitting at the table and now doing rails and figuring out.
You look at the
You know what I mean?
Like, whoa.
And like that's where you lose your imagination, and like so now you're just picturing the next line or picturing the next crack hoot. You're not just sitting down and drawing anymore. You're losing your whole perception of like
if there's an
adventure.
advantage, you're losing the advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And so like using it, and then like when we used to do acid and shit, and we used to use it as creating and like self-preservation and self-growth and everything else like that. But there was times that I realized that like there was just be that person. I wanted to be that person. There wasn't Roger. There was the guy that was that guy, right? He came off that kind of way, and like it's like, okay, well, I'm not that guy anymore, but I can still have that in me. Like I was that person. It wasn't the drugs that were, it just created the loophole to get out, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like I was that person, but yeah, sorry, squirrel. Oh, God. But you know what I mean?
Once we start preferring the person that we become when we're on a substance too, that becomes dangerous.
Yeah.
If you play music and you play music primarily on a substance, then you might play when you're not and be like, you know what, I really need that in order to get into the mood. Or you'll convince yourself that it's just mood related or something. And really, it's part of your self-awareness and part of your consciousness. And we clock ourselves. We have self-sensors.
It's like when I come home from work,
to be at a particular resting place in our consciousness. And if that is drug-induced or coffee-induced or sugar-induced or alcohol-induced or whatever,
you like to feel that comfort.
I find it when I get alcohol-induced that I'm less, like I could definitely go with less alcohol, because once I get to a point where I'm like, my blood doesn't feel happy anymore and stuff like that. Whereas I can smoke weed all day long and it doesn't even, I don't mind it whatsoever. But everybody's different. Everybody's going to be different.
No, exactly. And everybody, you can't defy like the conversations of anybody that has any conversations for everybody. It's like, it's the great thing about being yourself. And like, for me, knowing you guys and everything else, I'm not the person that you used to know. I'm an upgraded version or downgraded, depending on how this conversation goes, right?
Depending on your perspective, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
You're upgraded, man. You're upgraded. Come on now.
No, fuck off. I love you both, but it's like it's weird. Like if you just break it down, I just like to break it down and like say, even if anything, conversations, it's really great to find things that are great. And for me, not going around and trying to find things great, but find things great. Because I'm a very herbivore, kind of like to my own, keep to myself, do what I want. And like, I don't go out and verbalize things. I don't do much. And you guys are probably a little bit the same way, more impacted to like be cautious of interactions with people and like things like that.
I generally don't enjoy interacting, so I try to avoid it.
Oh, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like even when you told me that the glasses we wear hides the soul, right? Like, and now it's like, oh, I need my glasses.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that. There's lots of many things you said. I was like 17, but I was like 15 when I met you.
Oh yeah.
Remember? Okay, crazy shit. You know, Crystal, or it would have been Danielle.
Danielle.
Oh yeah. Okay. Crazy ass motherfucking shit. Okay. So when I left Maple Ridge and shit, and I came over here and whatever, and I turned 19, I met a girl that I knew in Aldergrove when I was 12. And that was crazy in Maple, in where I live, and she was from Aldergrove. And then I met Crystal again in Superstore where I live 20 years later. And then Matt Jones was in the same town. It was just weird. Like,
you're on the island, Roger?
Yeah.
And you guys are all pretty close to each other, right?
No, who?
You and Matt and Crystal.
No, God, no.
Close? No.
Oh God, no.
You're far?
No, far. Well, living wise or mentally?
Why?
Living.
Like living wise.
Oh yeah, no, they're in the same vicinity.
Oh yeah.
Geographically, yeah, they're Vancouver Island or something. Yeah, no, but it was just weird, like to like, and the thing is, I've always felt like I was a bad person back in the day, and I screwed over everybody, and I don't know.
I didn't know that.
No, I probably didn't, but my brain said I did it because I. And that's evil brain, evil mind comes in.
Enemy mind.
Yeah, enemy mind. Sorry, I'll get it down. Maybe I'll just make a product of my own. Evil mind.
Go read the book PMA Effect by John Joseph.
I will, but yeah, it's cool because then it helps my recovery to know that I wasn't a bad person, but that's only depicted on your guys' view of me when I was then. And like, I'm still working out. Like, I'm still talking to my mom now, starting to, because I just realized that. Not really. I hate. Yeah, that goes into a whole different other
rabbit hole. Can of worms.
Rabbit hole. Get out.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I like people now.
I had a lot of people back then telling me that I was a bad person. And,
you weren't a bad person. You were just an asshole once in a while, like everybody else.
Well, no, but it was just like I was the subject
else.
of everybody's weird conspiracy theories.
Because
like
you were fucking Jim Morrison.
Their dreams, or I was fucking haunting them, or back then I had tons of
look, Jim Morrison right there.
Jim Morrison. Remember? There's so many fucking cool shit that we learned.
It's all perspective. Right.
And like, yeah, no, it's perspective. Everybody, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't judge anything about anything anymore nowadays. Now keep to yourself. You can only judge the movements and the choices you make. If you make bad choices, you can judge them. If you can make good decisions, you can judge them all you want. But it doesn't, the way that you're perceived by everybody else is not supposed to be taking effect on you unless you disgrace them.
You have to have zero fucks usually, man. Like, people are in their own heads too.
But I don't want zero fucks. I want to care that I can say hi to that person next door, that they're not mad at me, that I shit on the lawn or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you can't care too much. If you care, like, you be a polite guy, you go through life doing good things and being nice. You can't. Not everyone's gonna like you, man. That's just a fact of life.
True that. I've had people be like, "I hate you" because I
got hard haters, bro.
I know.
You know?
No, man.
Tell me more.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? No, come on, fuck off.
I think people just generally dislike other people.
No.
With exceptions. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it.
I like it. I
don't
if
judge people, but if somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to talk for a while?" I'd be like, "No." I want to go. No. I'm going to go do something. You know, like if I don't know people, the people that I do know are like archetypal to me, and
it's like
hold them in great reverie and esteem.
Yeah,
people are important to me. The people that I know are, but the people who I don't know, they're really not. Right.
Sorry, it's nearly 7:30.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we should wind her down here soon. I got to do a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
I walked the dog, smoke a joint.
This sucks because I was like, oh, this is great. This is a
Return into
good time.
pumpkins.
No, yeah, well,
Yeah.
we could. We could. I have a pumpkin outside, I think.
Let's say 10
You were
more
saying-
minutes.
You were saying. No, it literally will shut down in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
didn't-
really?
I
You
yeah, I
just
didn't
started
expect.
Enjoy
Yeah.
the 3 minutes.
Does it shut itself down or what?
No, you should be okay.
Oh, okay. No, we can keep going. I thought it shut itself down because we specified a time. But no, I mean, we're wondering. Ooh, is that a real human skull?
I wish.
Okay.
My
It's
dad's
just a
got
prop.
real human skulls in his house. I put them
I
on
saw them.
Instagram.
I
We
saw
had a
them.
bunch of people were like, "That's fuck. You shouldn't have that."
I love them. What? You should
I
have
took-
it.
Oh, I took it down
Why?
because people are
Fucking
fucking
people. Karens. Fucking Karens and Walters.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Fucking-
there was like he's got 3 human skulls. One's a toddler. One's like a
Yeah.
mom and a dad. They were killed in a
Yeah.
fucking car accident in the 50s.
Yeah.
And I posted it. I was like, "This is so fucking metal."
It is metal.
Weird. Like I know he's had them for a
weird.
long time, and
It's
I
like
just kind of looked at them and I was like, "That's
Strange, but that's
It's-
about it, right?
Yeah, but the thing
Like,
is,
how do
okay,
you get 'em
it's
and
not really
why do you
strange
have
because the
them?
thing is, back in the day, they went
because my
around
dad's got skulls
Caravans.
everywhere."
Yeah, it's collections and
Caravans.
stuff.
caravans.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, we're almost
like
done.
my mom collects skulls. So if I get a skull of something, I usually give it to my mom. I've got like
Yeah.
a coyote skull, and I've got a rat skull, and I've got a goat skull, and I've got you
Yeah.
know, some skulls. I think
Skulls.
I don't even know. Yeah, it's
But, I don't know. People
good.
just have opinions.
yeah, but human skulls are a little bit tricky because it's like, where did you get it? Who
bought
is
it off
it,
the
and where did you get it? Like,
Yeah.
He got it legally. I know that he's got papers for them or something.
Yeah, well.
He got them. Or they were given to him as a Christmas present from one of his girlfriends, and she got them in a normal way.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
we're not
it's
just
weird
picking
that there's
on
normal
it.
ways to get it, though, right? Like desecration of the dead and laws about
Hey,
stuff,
hey,
and
I
not
wanna
buying
be-
and selling human body parts. And there's
If I kick it, I'm gonna
kinks.
get my friend to taxidermy me. Put me in a lawn chair with a beer in my hand.
Yeah.
Put me in a forest.
Oh.
I want to be taxidermist. I want to be stuffed.
If I had a bigger penis or something, then I might go for this taxidermy. But I don't think that anybody wants to see that. It's like,
Well, you just big penis, one big penis.
I'll go into a museum as like the mid portion between aliens and humans. It's like they'll have a human, and then they'll have
Yeah.
me, and then they'll have an
Yeah.
alien, and I'm just kind of like
I could see that.
I'm the midpoint.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that would work.
But
Can I paint you purple?
Yeah, no, I don't want to be purple. I like
Okay.
blue,
Blue, like a Smurf. I have a 5-foot
like
Smurf.
a Hindu god.
Oh, I have a 5-foot Smurf.
Yeah, you've got one.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's Bob. He's my drinking buddy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right, Bob?
I thought you were like that was like a pet name for the wife or something, but nope.
No.
That's a
no.
real Smurf doll.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife had it. I married her.
The doll
my
or your
rock.
wife?
Either or.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they come one with the other, right?
Well, exactly. They did. And it was weird because I collect Smurfs, remember?
I don't, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
I collect Smurfs anyway. I used to
Yeah.
make mushrooms all the time. Anyways.
Well, Smurfs are good. Smurfs are
I
good.
gotta come visit you, Roger, when I ride my. I was thinking about riding my
Anytime.
bike out in September.
Anytime. That was my spare room.
Yeah, I'd hang out.
And you're in the rural
I have an
area,
apple
right?
garden. I have an apple garden.
Apple orchard.
I don't know.
Orchards are
Shade.
good. Do you use the apples?
Yeah. Applesauce, apple pie.
Apple sauce.
Applesauce, apple
Yeah.
cider.
You could.
Love
You do
applesauce. I
that.
don't even have
Fuck
applesauce.
I know. I'm gonna
Yeah,
see
and
if you
you
can see.
want for the pie filling and
This will
peck
work.
them. It's
Oh,
all
there's
about
someone
peck them,
gardening.
bro. Nice.
Someone gardening.
Your ground is all obviously alkaline.
Huh?
You can tell by the blue flower.
Oh.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, I think those are like the flowers that turn blue or pink, depending on if it's alkaline or acid. Azalea or rhododendron
That's
or
fucking
whatever the fuck it is.
It's a flower.
I'm not a like flower guy.
You should be. Apparently, if you spend lots of time around flowers, it's really good for you, like energy wise, like I don't know. It's just a good thing.
Poppy seed flowers?
Yeah, that'd be about it. I mean, plants are good. Plants are great. Growing plants is wonderful. It's good oxygen. It's good biochemicals, but people get pretty hippie pretty quickly. And I think the plant world is polluted with a lot of nonsense that, you know, and again, if it makes you happy at the end of the day to fucking think that the moon phase or some bullshit's effectual,
the one at work told me.
Just do it.
There's another Neil deGrasse Tyson with Joe Rogan going on about the moon fucking.
Well, people have to deal with that,
moon.
right? Like, as far as a garden guy and a garden tech, I've had to watch people use urban legends constantly. And what do? You can repeat yourself over and over again, but if people don't get what they're talking about, and as long as they don't understand the basis, then it's easy to misunderstand it. But
it's like someone said the earth was flat still to me.
They what?
The earth was flat.
The earth is flat.
Yeah.
Well, it feels flat.
Like you shoot.
Like when you walk
he's
on
like,
it. But if you lay down in the middle, you don't roll.
No, exactly. That's what he's saying. Like, it just feels like a flat.
Lay down.
Yeah.
And like when you start walking, it's always flat. You never see the
that is the
roundness.
fucked up thing, man.
I know.
I
told him that I'll buy him a spaceship.
Put a spider mite on a basketball, and the spider mite's like, I don't see it being round.
No, exactly.
You know, it's flat at
that's
that point.
Yeah. I just laughed.
Flat. There's a lot of flatness in the universe. You know, the universe and the Earth is flat in its own sense, because if you look at the way the distribution of mass is, it's over an equatorial plane. All throughout the universe, there's this tendency towards flatness, and it's the equatorial, where you've got some middle zone like a pogo ball. That's just the way that the gravitational field works, right? It's the gravity well. So the space itself is like pretty flat and ribbony and papery.
Yeah.
But the spheroidal shape of planets, pretty obvious.
Yeah,
pretty obvious.
Well, I'll leave that on the note, but I'm gonna head out.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta head too, man.
Addiction and recovery.
Was a great podcast.
Yeah,
we'll do it again.
Yeah, and you know, hopefully people realize too that it's the light at the end of the tunnel thing, because everybody, again, all three of us have experienced some or another touch of the really, really, really horrible, not recommended experience of addiction. Oh God! And to be functional at all is at least the sign that, you know, if somebody's in the point where they're not functional, they're going to get out of it. Any last words, Roger?
Have good adventures, and I hope to talk to you again. And great universe energy.
Garrett.
Learn to know thyself, and there's always hope.
Nice. And you're going to be covering this subject in great detail on the Keeping It Heavy podcast one day. Hopefully.
100%.
Because I think that people would enjoy that.
Along with metal and fitness and nutrition.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me know that when you're doing another one, Adam, and let me just keep in touch, buddy.
Yep. Will do, guys. Thank you very much.
Love you too, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.